Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, Episode 8. Player's Take is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. I'm your host, Justin DeSimone. I'm joined by Montrell Rice. Yeah. And we're going to jump right in. We have a lot to talk about this week, and we want to get through it as quickly as we can. So we're going to start with what we've been playing. Montrell, what have you been playing, man?
Started back on God of War. Continue to climb in League of Legends. And Resident Evil 2 Remake, I'm still on my second playthrough. Also, they released 3 separate campaigns for free.
What? Campaigns? What do you mean campaigns?
So there's 3 different characters.
Playthroughs?
3 different playthroughs.
Wow.
For free. 3 different what-if scenarios with 3 different characters.
They love this game.
Yeah.
Man, they're really showing you guys the love, huh?
Yeah, man. And I'm back on Tales of Vesperia as well.
Okay. Trying to get through everything before, next week.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through a lot before next week because, next couple of weeks you're going to be playing Anthem and then
Division. Yeah, fair enough. And you have DMC in between those two, as well.
And the Sekiro. And
Sekiro. Oh, my God, dude. Yeah, that's a lot of games. That's a lot of games, man.
Yeah.
Jesus. Me, I've been playing Shining Force 2 a little bit more. I only have a few more battles. Nothing new to say there. I played Mega Man X Legacy Collection for about 30 minutes.
Hey, at least you're playing it, man. I'm glad you're playing that shit.
Dude, I love Mega Man X. Dude, I love the Mega Man X game. So, I played it for about 30 minutes because I needed something that actually had good gameplay.
Yeah.
After finishing Kingdom Hearts 3, and that was the palate cleanser, and it worked. I played through like 2 levels, and I was like, man, this is, it's so tight. Like, it felt good. So, also played, I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I kind of wanted to get into a JRPG that I knew would be good, so I
foreshadowing.
That's twice now. Yeah, played about 10 hours additional into the 5 hours I had put in way back. I kind of watched some videos to kind of get myself back to where I was in the story, but I really like the game so far. I think it's well designed. I will say the combat is. It seems it's presented as overly convoluted, but it actually feels like it's deceptively simple. It's weird because there's not a whole lot you can do in combat, but a lot of things are happening around you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that you kind of have to be prepared for, I guess. There's a lot of character building in the game, too, like customization and stuff. So I think the game is more about preparation more than it is actually execution, it feels like, a lot of the time. Which is interesting. I'm sure. I mean, I'm only 15 hours in, so I'm sure there's more going to be layered on later. They always do that, so I'm gonna keep plowing through that. Really liking that game. And also Division 2 beta. I got that working. Not really working. I just canceled my pre-order and did it on PSN.
Fucking Ubisoft.
But
man.
yeah, I don't even think I ever got a reply. By the way, after so fuck their support. But we checked it out for about what would you say, 6 hours or so?
Yeah, we played it around 6 hours, and then me and Jet's internet went out.
That was funny. Part of the same outage. I was by myself in the dark zone. It was great. It was good. I actually ran around in there for like 20 minutes after you guys disconnected, and I killed like an elite by myself. It was good.
Oh, for real?
There was nobody there. It was weird. It was like a ghost town. Yeah, dude. I didn't run into any players, and there were like no enemies anywhere either. It was weird.
Okay, maybe it's still under the... Well,
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But, it was just... I killed, like, a gold plate named enemy or whatever with the gold health bar, the, like, uber elites. Killed one of those, and then I called it. But I'm going to be honest. Coming away from this, I'm probably more excited for Anthem at this point. Between the two of them. It's more fresh for me. Division 2 felt very similar to the first game, which is not a bad thing. The game felt good. It just, I'm kind of waiting for the game to come out, really see what the end game content looks like.
It is a sequel compared to like Anthem, which is a new game. So
brand new game, different mechanics, different world setting and all that.
And Anthem feels more RPG-ish. Like
everyone
has role. Everyone can have a designated role.
Which the Division seems like it has that too, but you're not restricted by anything. You can pick anything with your character at any given time.
If you guys decide you want to do that, then you can. But you can go solo and try to be a jack of all trades.
So I'll be interested to see once the game's out, though. We didn't have access to a lot, so I'm really not going to judge the game based on that.
Even the late game content. I mean, that's one thing I think more games should do is like give you a sample of the late game content.
Yes,
and we did see a sample, and it was some interesting builds they gave us. So
we didn't get a chance to play it though because we wanted to do the Dark Zone, and then you guys disconnected, so we didn't actually try it out. But the fact that you have to pick like a specialization was really interesting. Yeah, I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. So we'll see once it comes out. We're planning on playing both, so we'll have thoughts on both of those games as we get going. So let's jump into the news. We had a couple big stories this week. Nothing else really that we want to talk about. We're gonna talk about the Nintendo Direct that happened on Wednesday. This was a big one. There was a lot in here.
Yes.
There were a lot of announcements. We're not going to go through every single one. I will say if you want to check it out, it's 35 minutes. It's definitely worth your time. Definitely. If you're looking for Switch games to play in the next 6 months, they announced a lot of stuff. This is one thing about Nintendo I really like with their directs, the way they structure these, is that they are very focused. Yeah. They're not showing stuff for the most part that's coming out outside of this year. Yeah. Like they didn't show anything, I feel like, from 2020.
I think they showed one game. I forgot what game that was.
Are you sure? I don't even think there was.
It was like it's in development.
Was it the Astral Chain maybe game?
No, that comes out later on this year.
Is it? Okay, because it was Rune Factory 5.
There you go.
That was probably
Rune
the
Factory
one,
5,
which they literally said it's in development.
Yeah.
That I'm a little like, okay, great, good to know.
I expressed how I don't really like that because they did it with Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, and look what happened with that.
Look what happened with that. Yeah. So if they had never told us about that, they wouldn't have had to announce that and say sorry about it. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to the Yoshi's World game that's coming out.
Yep.
Astro Chain. I'm literally looking forward to the Damon
Ex Machina. I'm sure that's probably what it's called.
I don't know. It does have an X in there, but yeah. Is it Machina?
Or it could be Damon Cross Machina. It could be Damon Ex Machina. I don't know.
Damon X or Cross Machina, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
They actually have like a little 5-hour demo. I mean, you can play as long as you want.
Yeah, it seems pretty robust. You said it was like 5 or 6 missions, and then there's a boss mission too in there.
Yep. And you can customize your character. You customize your mech.
Is it co-op?
I don't think so.
Not the demo. I'm talking about the game though.
I don't know.
Is the game gonna be co-op?
I don't know,
dude. That could be a game I might want to check out with you. Like that could be pretty fun. Like the game always piqued my interest. I just didn't know how deep it was going to be, and it seems like it's pretty robust actually.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Because you can like customize your mechs, right?
Yeah, customize.
How deep does that go based on what you've seen?
It's pretty actually simple, but not too simple where you don't like it. Like where it's like But it's pretty. It reminds me of like a mix between Armored Core and Custom Robo. Like they did a really good job at simplifying it, but like making it more.
I can see that.
Yeah, making it more intuitive for people who are into mech games. Another thing that I got from that game, I was just going to touch on briefly, is your teammates actually do damage, like your AI teammates.
Oh, this is definitely co-op then. If you have AI teammates.
Yeah, but it's a story mode, so they actually have voice acting and everything. like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that being said, you remember how in Star Fox your team actually did stuff? Like your AI, sometimes,
unless it was Slippy.
Well, yeah, unless it was Slippy, but like
save me, Fox.
With this game, you can actually revive your teammates as well.
Okay.
So with this game, when you're playing with your squad, they have voice acting. They're like your permanent squad for what I've seen. They give me that Star Fox vibe, like like you feel like each one has its own distinct personality and things of that nature. So I'm really looking forward to the game.
Okay. Yeah. For me, like I came away from this just wishing I had more time to play games because. Like, there's a lot of things on here that I would love to play that I just know I'm not going to have time to play. Like, Astral Chain's 1 for sure, Damon Cross Machina, even Rune Factory 4, looks like a fun little game, And then there was also the Yoshi game, Onikami, and Captain Toad. Like, I've always wanted to play that.
They had a Captain Toad in there. I didn't see.
Yeah, they showed like a DLC for it that they're releasing on the Switch. Okay. It's gonna have some new stages. I've never even played the original game at all, and I always wanted to. It's just like not. It's a time thing. It's one of those games that just falls off the radar, right?
Yeah.
It's like I want to. It's a lot of. I just named like 6 games though. I'm not gonna have time to play all those.
And then there's a couple more games you didn't even mention that.
Yeah, exactly. That I know I'm gonna play. So the one I know I'm gonna play on here that they gave us about 5 minutes of was Fire Emblem Three Houses. And what were your thoughts on what they showed us?
All right, so I get super hyped and then I dehype myself after.
You do have a bad habit of getting really hyped in the moment, and then you think about things and you're like, fuck, shit.
I am super hyped though. I am still super hyped about the game. I do like that you're on the battlefield and you can see other people. Like, it feels like an actual battlefield.
You're in a war, right? Yeah, you have like a legion with you. Or
and I wonder how much of that's going to play in the part of the role playing or in the combat. So I am interested in seeing that,
dude. So what we've seen so far, I feel like it's literally just like a cosmetic thing. I don't think it has any impact on the gameplay whatsoever.
Okay,
based on what we've seen. That's my thoughts.
I still think it's cool though.
I agree. I wish it did have some point to it though, because it would be interesting, right? If there was a mechanic where you could have a certain size of a group with you, know, of units, and depending on how big it was, it might influence some of your stats or something, or make you harder to hit, or maybe if you do get hit, you take less damage because they're taking the hit for you. You know, something along those lines. We'll see. I mean, they didn't show us enough for me to really say conclusively either way which one it is. I'm leaning towards the side of it having no impact, but I'm not sure.
I want to believe that it's not cosmetic, but you may be right. It may be a cosmetic thing, but I still like the look and feel of me being on the battlefield with some other people, and it just looks cool. Because like every time I do play a Fire Emblem game, I don't really get that battlefield feel. Like, I don't feel like sometimes I'm
certain
at war.
Ones are better than others at this. I feel like Radiant Dawn was really good at it because you fight overwhelming odds in that game. Where you're fighting, you have like 15 units and you're fighting against like 50. You know, it's insane. You're fighting against like giant groups. And then there's some missions later in the game that are insane where there's like allied factions, then there's like neutral factions, you're fighting against an enemy faction, and there's like everybody's got like 30 units each. It's like it's insane. So some of the battles in that game definitely feel like a war is happening, for sure. I think some of the other Fire Emblems like Awakening and Fates kind of that fell away a little bit. It was a little bit less overwhelming in that regard. So hopefully you're right. Yeah, I think in that sense maybe it feels like a war is happening. But the thing is, the thing I came away with is like, how is the story structured in this game? Because the thing with the what they showed us is that mostly they showed us that you're going to be like in like Hogwarts Fire Emblem, you know. That was a funny thing I saw online afterwards where people were like, man, this looks, you got like houses and you're the fucking teacher, you know. So
fucking
Harry Potter Fire Emblem, man. So I'm not sure how are they going to get involved in the conflict. You know, it's like what conflict's even going to happen? You know, are the countries going to go to war with each other?
It looks like it's like three houses, and three houses control three different sections of the territory.
But you're in a neutral area, so how do you get involved in the battle? You know, like is it a thing where you're trying to keep the peace, or do you join one of the sides? Because according to what the trailer showed us was like you have to pick one of the houses, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that this neutral faction is going to get involved with one of the houses. But this is where my cynicism comes from with IS, though, is that there's three houses. You have to pick one of them. Does that mean we're going to get 3 games similar to what we got with Fates? Like, are we in that situation again? Because if we are, I'm going to be really upset. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like,
they could do the thing where they did with Blazing Sword, or Blazing Sword, where it was one story, then the next story.
Yeah,
you know, so.
But hopefully, the thing is, or is it a situation where it doesn't matter what house you pick and then you get the same outcome no matter what? Like, that would piss me off more probably. But
I don't. Oh, yeah, that would be.
If you're going to have a single game, though, that's probably how you have to do it, where you have like very small variations depending on which house you pick. You can't like completely redesign the game 3 different times, you know, and put it in one game. I mean, if you're going to do that, I would be very impressed by that. That would be extremely robust.
I think it would be like, you know, it's tell 3 different points of views of the same story, but like just 3 different points of views.
Yeah.
And different things will happen, but I mean, it'll probably be
you're all in the same location every time or whatever, like most of the time or something like that.
Probably. I mean, or like maybe you are in different locations while this house is doing this over here, this house is doing this over here, and you do meet at certain points of the story where, you know, you meet up, but you see how they led up to that point from 2 different perspectives.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they might do that.
Okay.
One thing that I'm not excited for which I did realize, it is going to be a house, so it's going to be a school, so it's going to be teenagers, and there's going to be freaking love everywhere, and I'm not...
You think the marriage thing's coming back?
Yeah, I think that shit's coming back.
I mean...
I want to see how they're going to justify me having a kid and him going to a time portal and fighting people, like... I don't...
Because, dude, the setup for this game is really cool. I love the idea of you're on a continent, there's 3 major nations, and then you have this neutral one in the middle, and it's like... I really like the setup here for this game. I'm just really worried about all this shit you're talking about. Is like, how are you going to shoehorn in the kids thing without it being hackneyed and fucking feels like it's
really
just
hope they don't do
like
that.
Duct taped onto the game? Like I agree with you. I really hope they take the marriage thing out, or if they have the marriage thing, it has a small impact where it doesn't really matter. You know, that's really... I don't care about that mechanic. I hate the kids thing. I'm tired of it. Yeah. I didn't like it in Awakening, and I fucking hated it in Fates. Not gonna even like mince words there. It was garbage in Fates. Like, I hated it. Ugh.
I don't like the whole like pick your waifu thing. And
yeah.
I know that's like a big thing in the East, but like over here in the West, like we're tired of it. And
no, there's a lot of people that like it though, dude. I think we're in a minority with this opinion. I think a lot of people like it. I think the thing that throws people off is the story part of it, is how they integrate it into the story to justify it, is that they do a really poor job of it. They did a worse job with Fates than they did Awakening. They actually at least integrated it into the main storyline. Like in Fates, it was just like, there's fucking alternate dimensions here where all your kids are and time goes faster. Like, okay, great. Like, that's cool. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it would be cool if I do pick my waifu or whatever, my wife or husband or whatever the case. Yeah. Like, I can only use those kids for, like, online play. Like, if I want to go against another player. Yeah. That would be cool. It was like a little gotcha game.
That's not going to happen, though.
But that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. So, I mean, thing is, I came away from this, basically, I'm reserving judgment. I don't know what I'm going to get yet. There are some warning signs, but we don't know. They didn't announce any pricing. They didn't announce 3 versions. They didn't announce anything. They just gave us a date.
They did push it back, too.
Which is in July. Yeah, they did push it back, which is a good sign, meaning that they really want to get this right. And I think they know that they need to get this right. Because the thing from my perspective is, if I were them, right, is that you're making enough money off of Fire Emblem Heroes that...
I was just about to say that.
Stop fucking over the main games to make money. Stop it. Like, stop putting DLC in, the useless DLC on top of it. Stop putting useless DLC in. Stop trying to do the Pokemon thing where you have 3 different versions of your fucking game. Stop doing that. Stop doing these stupid, like, waifu things. You can do that in Fire Emblem Heroes. Like, do that there.
Put all that in Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah, exactly. Take it out of these main games. Make these quality experiences like they used to be. Yeah. That's what I want. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to comment on how the production value of the game looks like it went up a lot.
It does. Yeah, the music sounds fantastic, dude. They've always done a great job with music, but this one's really striking me so far that the music sounds really good. And it seems very cinematic. Yeah. Like, versus the way Fates kind of was. Like, it seems like they're really focused on getting a good story across, you know? So,
I mean, maybe they are putting that Fire Emblem Heroes money to use. Because
I hope so, dude. Because that's the right way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I will accept the existence of Fire Emblem Heroes if it means that the main series becomes what it used to be again. You know?
Yeah, and that's about as far as I go with mobile games. Like, if they improve my quality console or PC games, then by all means, do what you gotta do.
Dude. Yeah. That's what they should be, right? Yeah. I think if you're a company like Nintendo... Or Blizzard is a great example, right?
I was just going to say Blizzard,
with Diablo Immortal, if that game turns into a situation where they make a shitload of money off of it, but it results in us getting really quality games from Blizzard, then I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I'm not going to partake, but I'm all for it, you know?
Because, I mean, there's always going to be a subsection of people that play mobile games.
100%.
There's always going to be 100%.
And I don't begrudge those people having fun with those games. Yeah. If you like those, more power to you. It's just I don't want those games at the expense of the games I like.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think we can exist in harmony with that. I think we can have both.
Yeah, you know? I mean, I think Nintendo's finding that perfect balance, and maybe other companies will learn from that.
Yes. So we'll see. I'm sure we're going to find out more. I expect another direct on this game probably in May sometime. Okay. Like an exclusive direct about this game.
Yeah.
You know, similar to what they did with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where it was like 20 minutes and they're explaining like mechanics and stuff. Like, I expect that with this game because they didn't give us enough to go on. Yeah, they really didn't.
I'm not really expecting anything until E3.
I mean, it could be during E3, but I think it's one of those situations they're going to want to dedicate a lot of time to this game and do it right and really get people hyped.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, it needs to be an exclusive direct. Either that or your E3 direct's going to be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, you're right.
So I don't think they want to direct that long, so they may split it out on its own in May sometime. But the last thing that really happened was that we got an announcement of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is getting remade on the Switch, and it is chibi as fuck.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the designs.
I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, I think like if you like Mother, then you'll like this design of Link.
Yeah,
because he looks like a Ness character, or he looks like a character.
He looks exactly like Ness.
Yeah,
he looks exactly like Ness does with the eyes and everything.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a cheap little remaster, but I mean, not a cheap.
The gameplay looks right though.
Yeah, the gameplay looks right.
It looks like what I would imagine this game would look like if it were made now.
Yeah,
with those
exactly.
Mechanics, right? Because they had a lot of familiar stuff in there with like the 2D sections. Because that game had some 2D sections in it.
Yeah,
and it also had jumping as well. Like you could jump, which is not a thing you could normally do in the 2D, the isometric Zeldas.
Yeah.
So it seems like they might be keeping true to the original game's kind of design, which is a good thing. So I'm tentatively excited for this one.
And I think they went with that design just because the whole Toon Link thing is kind of played out at this point.
It is.
So
yes.
they went with a different like Lego-ish design, which I don't really mind.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but I like it. I know you're on the fence if you're not really liking it that much, but
it's not about the game itself. I love Link's Awakening. It's actually one of my favorite Zelda games.
Yeah.
This game, dude, when I was a kid, it was I played the hell out of this game. I beat this game. I have a cartridge actually here of this game, but the thing that annoys me is that Nintendo is getting a little bit too cute with these remakes. Like they're remaking a lot of their games now, and their old games. And I'm kind of like, I would rather you just make a new one that's an isometric Zelda. You know, I know that we got Link Between Worlds, which was that like a few years ago, and I didn't like that game, but
I loved it.
I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's like I don't know. It's just I want new stuff. You know, I want new games.
Yeah.
You know, I want new, fresh experiences. You know, and I mean, this game's design is very different, so this could be very fresh. It's been 25 years since it came out, or 26 actually, I think this year.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for like people who didn't experience this game to experience it.
100%.
So
yeah,
that's what I'm really excited for, to see what the new kids think about this game.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see what younger people think about it. I think it'll be very fresh for them too. Yeah, you know, because it is very different. All right, anything else in the direct for you?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, moving on. The other big story we had this week was this was kind of hinted at last week, that Activision Blizzard officially laid off about 800 people.
Yeah, 9% of his workforce.
Yeah, this week, which was not unexpected. Their justification for it, I will just read the quote, if I could find it here. Here we go. Quote, this is from Blizzard President J. Allen Brack. Over the last few years, many of our non-development teams expanded to support various needs. Currently, staffing levels on some teams are out of proportion with our current release slate. This means we need to scale down some areas of our organization. I'm sorry to share that we will be parting ways with some of our colleagues in the U.S. today. In our regional offices, we anticipate similar evaluations subject to local requirements. So this was what was echoed by Activision as well, is that they're reducing staff in areas they do not believe they need going forward. This is a pretty common way to mitigate hate towards layoffs, or mitigate the negativity towards layoffs, is saying that we're reducing staff that was no longer necessary. I think this is true. I think this is one of those things that's half true, half not true. Guarantee you that they released some developers. 100% guarantee you that. There's no way that they fired 800 people and not a single developer in their entire company was laid off. Yeah. So I think they're fibbing a little bit on that front. At the same time, I understand that a company changes its vision sometimes, changes its roadmap, and needs to adjust. It's understandable. However, it is Activision Blizzard, and
nobody trusts them.
Nobody trusts them. People aren't giving them leeway. Also, Bobby Kotick is a piece of shit, and their fucking CFO got a $15 million bonus, and they're sitting there, you know, in their damn earnings call raving about how they had a record year in 2018. I mean, it's just a bad look overall. Like, it's extremely callous to do that the same day you're laying off 800 people. Like, come on, guys. Like, stop. it's just hyper corporate. Like, this company doesn't deserve any leeway. I don't think, like, this is one of those things where I think a lot of people kind of blow these things out of proportion, and I think that happened in this case. However, I'm not going to bag on people too much, because Activision, they act like this all the time. They act like their people don't care. They don't care about their people, you know?
Well, and unfortunately, I think a lot of publishers and gaming industry, in gaming in general, has went hyper corporate, and I think
it has.
It's one of those things where gaming and corporate world do not mix.
They really don't.
And
they really don't.
They don't understand their fan base, because a lot of us, even though we do work in the corporate world,
it's such a different situation.
Yeah,
though.
it's.
Well, being public is another issue with these companies, is that when you're public, the expectation is that your profits they rise every year. And that is really hard to pull off in games, especially unless you are a skeevy-ass company like Activision or EA, where you put microtransactions and everything, and you release shitty games every single year that tons of people buy for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do this. And if you're going to do that, that means that you have to do what they're saying right here, is shave people off that aren't contributing to that kind of culture. And this is... We were talking about this earlier today. This is actually hyper concerning for Blizzard. Again, like, we've been talking about this a lot, but I am really concerned about Blizzard going forward, because I think the name of the game at Activision now, Activision Blizzard, is if you need to make money. If you don't make money, you're not worth our time. And that was true with Destiny. They put a lot of money into Destiny, and I think they were not getting what they wanted out of it in terms of revenue, so they cut bait. You know, and I think that's going to be the way they act going forward, you know, and that's going to include Blizzard. Blizzard's going to have to release a lot more games. Like, that's been what they've been saying, but I think that's the reality, though. What that means is we're going to get mobile games. We're going to get lesser quality games. We're going to get games that have smaller scopes, that don't have the normal Blizzard, what we would expect from Blizzard generally, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm worried about that, but I'm more so worried about just corporate America, or not just corporate America, but corporations in general invading games.
Yeah.
It started in, like, the 7th generation, and it's only gotten worse. Thing about corporations, they jump into the industry, they suck it dry, and they leave it, and then it's a husk of what it used to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like, almost like the car industry, one day we're going to experience a big crash where there's not going to be any games left for a couple of years, so
yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of. I mean, I'm afraid of this. I'm really afraid of Blizzard, because they did shape a part of my childhood, but I'm just afraid of games in general, because this is my biggest hobby.
Yeah, it is. Me too.
I mean, I read books.
I don't want it to get destroyed.
Yeah, and that's all I had to say about it.
But I'm going to say, though, is that as much as Activision and Bobby Kotick and Ubisoft and EA, they're culpable to this situation that we're in, we are also culpable to this situation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We buy these shitty games every year. We fucking pay billions of dollars in microtransactions on mobile games every year. Why do you think they chase them? Because they make money. There's no other reason. If we didn't prove to them that it's worthwhile, they wouldn't do it, right? So we have to put our money where our mouth is. You can't sit here and just scream at Activision and be like, you guys are a-holes, and then you go buy Call of Duty. Like, exactly. You can't do that. I'm sorry. You're talking out of two sides of your mouth then, right? Like, you need to put your money where your mouth is, Like, if you love Call of Duty but you hate Activision, I'm sorry. You got to pick one. You got to pick one.
Yeah.
You got to pick one, man. So,
I mean, the thing is, people don't... If you complain, like, I've seen plenty of gamers, like, when you complain about stuff like this, they're like, oh, well, just don't buy the game, or, like, just don't buy the game, or, they give some kind of straw man, or like, oh, they did this last year, or you guys were complaining when they did this for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, or something stupid. Just defending and shilling. But, I don't know, it's just weird when you try to tell other gamers that love a franchise, and I understand it. You love this franchise, and you're like, hey, man, like, I don't think... Not saying that you shouldn't buy it. You should do whatever you want to do with your money.
You need to think about it,
But you need to think about it. Like, this can have a long-term effect.
Dude, I was talking to my brother about this today. He was texting me about Dragon Quest. He's really upset at Square Enix about the way they've handled Dragon Quest 11 because the Switch is getting it, their version of Dragon Quest XI. And he told me, I didn't play Dragon Quest XI, so I don't really...
I either.
But he told me that the game released with the soundtrack that wasn't the actual game soundtrack. Like, it was not fully finished. And then they released the soundtrack later, at a later time, for free, but it was like not with the launch version of the game. It was like a fully orchestrated version of the soundtrack that was released later, so it completely, by the time he finished most of the game, he hadn't heard that soundtrack and he didn't get to experience it. So he didn't have an authentic experience with the game, and he was really upset about that. And I don't blame him. That's bullshit. Yeah. You should have not, like, if the soundtrack wasn't ready, push the game a couple weeks. Like, I'm sorry, like you don't get a, and this is a conundrum that I got into with him, because I understand where he's coming from. Like, he loves Dragon Quest, and I'm not going to begrudge him that, right? Yeah. Like, he loves Dragon Quest, but what is he supposed to do? Because Square screwed him over, and he's upset about it. But what is he supposed to do? Not buy Dragon Quest? Because then that means that the next Dragon Quest might not come out, and then the series that he loves is just dead. You know, it's like, what do you do? It's like a catch-22. It's the same thing that happened with Mass Effect, dude. I was pissed about Mass Effect 3, but what do? Do you not? Because you can't just replace Mass Effect with another game. There is nothing. It's not a fucking toaster, dude. You can't just go buy a different one. Like, you don't have a choice. It's either you give up the thing you love and stick it to the company, or you just deal with the shit they put you through, you know? So it's a very complicated situation, and then you're in between a rock and a hard place as a consumer in this industry.
I don't really think from that perspective, but yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, look what they did to Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
And now that game's probably never coming back out for a couple of years.
Exactly, right?
And
dude, so when I'm sitting here saying that you have to make a choice, at the same time, I understand how hard that is. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't understand what you're dealing with. Like, I'm dealing with the same thing with Fire Emblem, right? It's like, I don't trust that company because of what they've done with the last like 5, 6, 7 years of Fire Emblem. I don't trust them right now, but I love the series. I don't want to see it go away.
See, you know? Then on the flip side of that, I mean, yes, you will have to go some years without your favorite franchise. But then, once the company learns their mistakes, I feel like Capcom is a great example of this.
Yeah.
People did not like the DMC Devil May Cry. People did not like the direction that Resident Evil went in.
Yep.
And we spoke with our wallets. And then they came out and were like, okay, we're going to give you a quality Resident Evil game. Okay, we're going to give you a quality Devil May Cry game.
That's a good counter argument. I mean that's true. I mean, you had to wait. You did have to wait. You did have to wait a while.
That's the thing. We need to practice. As gamers, we have to practice patience.
That's
and
true.
Unfortunately, in this kind of world,
we get way too ravenous with this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true. Absolutely true.
And we just we're getting impatient because we want everything now. Everything is fast on the fly.
And to be fair, too, to add on to that, like, there's so much we have available to us to play.
Exactly.
That, you know what? Maybe it is best that we let our favorite franchise lie dormant for 10 years while they figure out what they want to do. Realize that they need to make it a quality experience and give that to you.
Exactly.
And then you'll be rewarded. So maybe that is true. Maybe we just have to.
You have to. I mean, it sucks, but you have to suck it up.
But the other side of this coin, though, the other problem that I see,
it is a multi-layer problem.
No, because there's another issue with this: is that you don't know the game is bad until you've played it.
True.
So how do you make that judgment call?
That's true.
Like, you can't. I mean, you're going off other people's opinions, because there's dozens and dozens and dozens of games that I played in my life that other people think are trash,
and
I think are good.
Yeah,
you know, like Last Remnant is a perfect example. I fucking love that game.
A lot of people
I think that game is incredible,
that game.
And people hate it. And I mean, that one's a really deep conversation, but just to give a short, brief summary, is that it came out on Xbox 360 first, exclusively. The tech, it was shit. It had bad frame rate. It crashed all the time. It was a really poorly developed game. Then it was optimized for PC. None of those problems were there. The game itself was fantastic.
I played it on PC first, and I loved it.
Yeah, and it was a great game. So, and I think it got really short shrift because of the way it was released.
Yeah.
So, but that's my thing, though. You don't know that until you play. And even if you're given a demo, sometimes it doesn't give you enough to make a judgment call.
That is true.
You know?
That's true.
And you can't just assume that reviewers are telling, like, because the thing is, I don't trust reviewers. They're hyper positive, and they don't really,
especially nowadays.
They're not taking the piss out of games, you know? Like, and do I trust hyper cynical people on the internet? Not really either. So it's a hard situation, you know? You really have to you really have to evaluate it case by case, your own understanding of the games you like and what you've seen from what they've shown you, whether you're going to buy a game or not,
Yeah, and I think in that case, a lot of people did, honestly, just like for Mass Effect, that's the most current example I can give. Andromeda, a lot of people did play that, and a lot of reviewers played it, and for once, the reviewers are on our side. They're like, yo, this game's trash, it's written trash, it's buggy as hell, and they need to go back to the drawing board on it, lay it dormant for a couple years.
Well, I think that one was an interesting situation, because that game was released in the middle of a gauntlet of amazing fucking games.
Yes, exactly.
That was the 2017 where you got Nier, Persona, Neo, I think Horizon. No, not Horizon. That was the year before. But that was Zelda too. Yeah, we got Breath of the Wild that same month. So that was kind of a unique situation. I think it was kind of hard to say that game was good considering everything else that came out around it.
I think even if it had it released, if you play it, you understand.
I know, I haven't played it.
I think even if that game had had its own separate window,
like in the middle of summer.
Yeah, like if it just released in the middle of summer, no competition at all, and people were just hyped about the game. And the mass following that game had, it still would have got the reception like, what the fuck is this?
It had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
It did have a lot of issues. But, okay. One piece, though, we want to talk about on top of this happened today, actually, is that a lot of people have been pushing for unionization based off of these firings. And there was an open letter that was posted on Kotaku from Liz Schuler, who is the AFL-CIO that this union represents... more than 50 labor unions in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm not going to read the whole letter.
Yeah.
You guys can read it. It's on Kotaku. It's definitely worth a read. My opinion of it is that I think it's very flowery, trying to paint executives as the end all be all evil in the world, and that the poor developers can't get anything out of their jobs. That their jobs are just shit. Let's be fair here. A lot of game developers are very well paid. This is not an industry that pays their people shit.
That's true.
There probably are plenty of examples where they're not going to make a blanket statement. But
yeah.
Overall, in general, a lot of developers are very well paid. That is not the issue, I think, with the way people talk about unionization. And this thing brings up pay a lot in here, and I think it's actually the wrong thing to go for. It's really the work conditions that
I was just going to say
primary
that.
issue, right?
I think the union should go for, if you are going to be a developer team that decide to unionize, it shouldn't definitely not be for pay. It should definitely be for work hours and what we can and what we can't do.
Yes.
I mean, I know pay is going to be somewhere in there, but
of course,
let's not make that the main emphasis of your.
Because that isn't the biggest problem.
Yeah, exactly. Right? It's just that you can put in 90 hours and they can drop you at a drop of a dime. They can just do that.
Yeah. Well, the one issue with pay that probably would be solved by a union is the fact if you work 90 hours now, you're more than likely not compensated for the 50 extra you work over your 40.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not given overtime. Unions would more than likely solve that problem where you would get compensated for that. However, and I think this is a thing that a lot of people in the games media they just take for granted. They think unions are like some magic cure-all to all the issues that developers deal with, and that's my issue with the way this conversation happens, is that nobody's bringing up the cons that unions are going to bring, is that unions aren't like some altruistic thing. Like they can be very bad.
Yeah,
they can be very bad. It's happened before. I've been in a bad union before.
I've been in a bad union before. I have people I know, however, that are in amazing unions. If they're done right, they can be very, very beneficial to the worker. Yeah, I mean, I was working with a company that I'm not going to mention any names, but like I was working with the company and the union was like always in the pocket of the company. They really didn't fight it until I got moved over to a different section of the same company, and they had a different union, and that union was more unionized and more organized, and we were able to get stuff done. So yeah, like you said, definitely depends on the union. It's not the savior. You just need the right people.
Well, dude, the thing with the overtime thing, and specifically though, is that money doesn't come out of thin air. Like if they have to pay people for overtime, guess what? They're not going to keep everybody.
Coming out of development.
Yeah, they're gonna lay people off, and it's not like unions aren't going to save people's jobs. Like these layoffs probably still would have happened even if developers are unionized.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I think another thing, this is a disingenuous argument I love seeing, is that everybody brings up executive pay like that's something that unions have some effect on. Like that's not. This is a publicly traded company that has a board. Yeah. They determine what Bobby Kotick gets paid. He doesn't pay himself. He doesn't determine how much money he takes out of it. Like, they determine what his pay is, and that's true. That's true of the CFO, the CIO, the CEO, anybody at that level. They're not determining their own pay scale. Okay. So, like, I think that's another annoying argument that's always brought up with this. It's like people are like, oh, they need to unionize. Executives get paid a disgusting amount of money. It's like they're not related. They're not really related to each other. Yeah. You know? And so given that, if you're paying overtime, they're not going to take that money out of the CEO's pocket probably. They're going to take it out of the developer's pocket, and they're going to fire people more than likely.
I think developers as well as consumers, just, you know, I don't know if the unions can do anything about this, but you should have some kind of required or some kind of experience in gaming, not just not just corporate. Like you should be just because I have
it's a unique industry, right? That has unique needs,
exactly
similar to voice actors and the actors and writers. All those unions are unique to them, right?
Yeah, I like to go to cars because you can't just hire someone who doesn't know cars. Exactly. Ford, you can't do that. Like if Ford hires somebody that was from freaking Facebook and who knew nothing about cars, like the industry would freaking tank. And I think the same thing should be done for games. Like it just can't be, I've ran Zynga before, so hey, I can go over here. Like to me, that just showed when Don Matrick went over to Zynga, that showed that he knew nothing about games. Yeah. And I think the same thing should be held accountable for. Executives in these publishing
100%
companies.
I agree with you. I think a lot of the executives throughout the industry are the wrong people for the job. They're this is the problem with them being public, though, is that they're driving profit. That's their only objective. Exactly. How you get there is, generally speaking, irrelevant to the board or your shareholders, right? So they do that whatever means necessary. If that means ruining video games, that means ruining video games.
I mean, because they can just go into a different field. Look at Konami.
Well, that's the other part about this whole discussion is that, dude, these CEOs, CFOs, CIOs, they flip-flop companies all the fucking time. Dude. Yeah. Like, dude, Activision fired their CFO and he gets hired by Netflix literally the same week. You know, it's like... And then the same thing happened with Blizzard. Blizzard's CFO leaves, and then she gets hired the same week, by a different company. It's like it's incredibly incestuous kind of thing. And I think the other thing though that I want to bring up is like I think a lot of people act like their jobs are easy. The CEO, CFO, CIO, they're not easy jobs. You and I couldn't do them. I don't think many of the people who can criticize these people could do their jobs. It's very hard to lead a company.
Yeah, just seeing the CEO of our company who works for us.
Exactly.
Like, she's very involved.
Exactly. Like, she is extremely visible for us.
Yes.
But what that has given, though, is I think it has given both of us insight into how difficult and stressful being a CEO actually is.
Yes.
Is that she's beholden to so many people. Everybody. Us, shareholders, the board, customers, vendors, everything, right?
Yep.
And that makes all the decisions she makes. There's so much weight to everything she does. You know how she spends her time in a day. You know, it's like it's so when you put it in those terms, it's just like I think it's really callous the way some people talk about executives.
Yeah.
I know some of these people like Bobby Kotick. I called him an asshole. Or the guy is an asshole. He doesn't care about games. He doesn't care about gamers.
And you know what? I used to be one of those people until I worked for this company.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, man, CEOs just do nothing. Like they just sit on their ass all day and do nothing. But
maybe some of them do too.
Yeah, and I think we're in one of those rare cases where our CEOs and our VPs are involved in us. We 100%. See them walking around, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not a lot of companies do that. Their CEO is way at a penthouse on top of the thing.
Not even in the building.
Not even in the building somewhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely pros and cons to everything, including this.
Yeah.
I think... Like we said earlier, like a couple episodes ago, we just have to look at both sides' perspective
and figure out what the best decision
is. Exactly.
I given all this stuff that I just said, though, I do think unions could be a positive thing for the industry
if done right.
If done correctly, yes. And I think the thing is, some of the issues that unions could help with are overtime pay for sure, length of time worked, like how many hours you're allowed to work.
Yeah.
I also think control of properties potentially, like studios, because if you have a union representing you as a studio, like how much control you have over what you're doing, right? I think like a lot of developers don't don't have control over the work they're working on.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a huge issue within the industry, is that if you work for one of the Call of Duty developers, like, you have no say in what you're doing. You're just told what to do, and that you're expected to do it.
Yeah, what are they called? The DMAs? Where you can't say disclosure.
NDAs.
NDAs. Yeah, I think that hurts a lot of people, especially like I said, I used to.
You can't put games you've worked on your resume because of NDAs. It's fucking absurd.
Yes.
That is insane. No other industry works that way. That is insane. You can't put the work you've been doing for 2 years on your resume. You're the most recent thing you've done. That's nuts. I'm sorry. That's crazy. It's extremely disrespectful to your workforce as well, because you're invalidating the work they've been doing.
Yeah, they can't post anything. Because I see plenty of times on like this forum I go on for like character design, like poly count and everything like that. They're like, okay, now that this game's released, here's all the work I've done. And then they start like, just not leaking, but putting all their stuff on there that they did.
Everything they did,
yeah. And but this is like months after the game has been released.
Yeah. So there's a give and take with it. I just don't like the way the industry talks about it. I think they demonize the corporate side of it a lot more than I think is reasonable sometimes. And
we do it too.
We do, yeah, 100%. We did it a couple weeks ago with EA. Like, I don't like EA. I don't like Activision. I don't. But at the same time, there's another side of the coin. Is that it's not their day-to-day is not like it's not like they're sitting in a fucking taking baths in a bed of money, and doing nothing all day. It's like they actually have hard jobs. So
I mean, one thing I just want to touch on before, like,
yep.
Only thing I don't like about the unions, or what I'm going to be fearful of, rather.
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of these developers have experience with unions.
That's the other. Yeah.
Yeah, like whether they worked in like small jobs before they became a developer or anything like that nature, or whether they're spoon fed or whatever. They didn't have to work during college, whatever the case may be. Like, if me and you were to get into the game industry and a union approached us, we have experiences with unions, so we know what to expect, we know what to look for, the signs of a good or bad union. I don't think these developers, 90% of them, know what's good or not.
That's a fair point too, and that's my point about unions can be bad sometimes.
Yeah,
they will easily take advantage of the people that they're supposed to be representing.
Yeah, because
I mean, if you're in a union, you pay dues.
Oh yeah,
and those dues vary in how high they are depending on the union. But and another thing with unions is that sometimes, dude, unions can get crazy, man. Where it's extremely granular. Where dude, you'll be in situations where people. Like, I was reading a comment where somebody said they had an experience with a union at a company they worked at. Like, they weren't in the union, but their IT department was part of a union. And if they had an issue with their computer where it was having a problem and they needed to restart it or something, or it crashed, they were not allowed to hit the power button to turn it back on. Because that was, quote, taking work away from their IT department, So that's how crazy unions can get. And that's the kind of shit you don't want. You don't want that to happen. Like, you want it to be wholesome, right? Like, that's insane, right? Like, that kind of thing. But there's plenty of examples of unions creating a situation where workers don't work hard because they don't feel like they're threatened.
I was just about to get that, like,
right? You don't want that either.
Yeah.
So it has to be done. It has to be done well.
Yep.
And I don't have a lot more to say on it.
That's it for me.
You got anything else?
No,
okay.
That's it.
All right, moving on. So we're gonna change up the way we've been doing the games list going forward. I have been noticing the past few weeks that the list that I've been using to say the new games from is not complete at our time of recording. And considering that I'm not getting a complete list of the games, I don't think it's valuable to you guys for me to read a list that's incomplete. I have been extremely unsuccessful trying to find a comprehensive list of everything coming out in a given week. I have not been able to find that. If anybody has it, please send it to me. But from what I can tell, it's really hard to find everything coming out within a week because there's upwards of 50 games coming out every single week, which is nuts. But, so what we're going to do going forward, I think, is really just highlight games that we're interested in or we think are worth talking about. For me this week, the only one really is Anthem on the 22nd. And then the other one I had was Civ 6 Gathering Storm as well, which is actually coming out today, the day we're recording. Anything for you jump out?
Just Anthem coming out next week. I'm not really too interested in Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in Metro. I'm going to get that tomorrow, actually. So I mean, yeah, Anthem and that's pretty much it for right now.
Yeah, we kind of came away from the Division, kind of wanting to play both of these games, so we are planning on jumping into Anthem right on release day. It already had some issues today, but hopefully those will be ironed out by the time we get to it.
I would get Jump Force, but that game looks terrible.
Yeah, this has been on your radar, dude. Yeah, man, this one's really funny.
If you guys know me, I'm a super anime fan, and I was looking forward to the game. The game looked pretty weird to me, but I was like, okay, I'm still gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I am too. I love anime too, man, but I feel like anime games are they're
trash, and people are gonna buy this game and justify it. And Bamco is not gonna make any decisions. They're not gonna make any changes because people are gonna buy this game. I've literally seen people tweet, "Oh, I'm still gonna buy it." Man.
I've seen them, dude.
Yeah, I'm still gonna buy it. I have to support anime. I'm like, dude,
I've seen them argue with you.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This game, to me, guys, and I might be over exaggerating, is Sonic 06 level of trash. Like, it's that trash. Like, if you
man, that's deep. That's deep, man.
If you have a PC, this game's available on PC, but you can download the Unreal 4 file and play the whole game for free. For free. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they may have patched it up by now, but
that's amazing.
That's ridiculous. And another game I want to touch on is Final Fantasy 9. I love this game. Yeah. I want to play it again. I only got to half done with it when I was playing it younger. It's $21 on fucking Nintendo Switch. I am not paying $21 for this game. I'm sorry. Call me broke. Call me whatever. I don't feel like it's worth $21. It's just not. $10, $15 I can see. But
I think 10 is where 10's it.
10's it?
For a game this old,
10.
You're not doing anything special to it. $10. Sorry.
Right.
That's my limit. I'm sorry with games of this nature. I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass. I guess it depends on the game. Like if it was Bait Katos on Switch, $20. I don't know. I think about it. I don't know if I'd do it. I'd probably wait till it's 10, but like on a sale or something.
$20, I'll probably get Bait Katos. I ain't gonna lie. $20.
But the thing is, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, I want another Bait Katos game though, so I kind of want to support them. Yeah. So
that's different though. This is that game. That's like a rare game.
They've released fucking Final Fantasy 9 on every platform a bajillion times,
and they didn't. According to some,
they've done nothing.
They've done nothing to it. So $21 is definitely not a steal. Is definitely just crazy. I am looking forward to Far Cry New Dawn.
Okay.
But I'm going to wait to the price drops.
Where the fuck are you going to find all the time to play these games?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm waiting to the price.
See, this is the thing. I gotta
Summertime, baby.
I gotta find sacrifices every year, and a lot of the games that came out this week are sacrifices. Sorry.
Summertime, baby.
I'm not playing Far Cry.
It's going to be
Metro. Not playing Metro. Like, I can't. I just don't have time for it.
It's going to be hot in the daytime, man, and no one's going to want to go out at night, so it's from a play. So,
it does get hot here, so
yeah.
I understand. I mean, you don't want to go outside anyways, though. Neither do I.
Yeah, I mean, only time we go outside.
I mean, dude, we're locked in a fucking closet right now. Like, we are the epitome of fucking vampires, so fair enough. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Moving on. Topic of the show. We both finished Kingdom Hearts 3, and we are going to talk about it. We have to get this off our chest. This is probably going to be a long segment. Hopefully not too long, but I'm not making any fucking promises. I'm not.
Just to let you guys know, I think Justin has over 8 pages. He was at 5
So I've been writing notes throughout the week just of things I want to bring up. And I'm at 5 pages. I actually didn't finish my notes. Like, I still have more to write, but I mean, we're talking about it now, so I'm just going to have to spitball.
So sometimes my memory is pretty bad, but I remember every vivid part of this game.
Fair enough.
That I've been talking about it all week.
So how do we want to go world by world?
Yeah, we're going to go world by world, but I do want to give some brief history on the director.
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah, go ahead.
So Nomura has worked on a lot of things. He's been actually a character designer. I don't know if you guys remember that one game called Bouncer that was on the PS2. That's when he really got his chance to shine on that game.
Yep.
I actually liked the character design on that game, so it was really cool. He also did some work on, Final Fantasy 5, 6. He did the character design, and he was a visual battle director for Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting on, let's move on to Final Fantasy 15.
You just skipped like 20 years. You just skipped 20 years.
Yeah, man.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah,
okay,
man. So,
fine. Final Fantasy 15.
Final Fantasy 15.
I'm a little hesitant to give you a soapbox to just talk about this game, but go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just giving history. I'm not gonna judge the game.
All right.
So
I mean, you've already judged the game.
Yeah, but if you guys know me, you know I hate Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I do too.
Yeah, so the game was supposed to be Versus 13, and he had a hand in it. He actually worked on Versus 13 for 6 years
how, dude, how?
So the thing is,
was he not working on any of these other Kingdom Hearts games?
No. So the thing is,
what the fuck then?
No, he was strictly.
Did he write the stories of them?
Kingdom Hearts 3 was strictly like, I want to say almost last minute. Honestly, it wasn't in development for 13 years. It wasn't. It was in
Kingdom
development.
Hearts 3? Hell no. No. They announced it in 2013, and at most it was in development in 2012. Yeah. So it's about 7 years maybe.
So I think what he was doing was like he was just going back and forth, writing stuff for the side projects. Those games were handed off to other people.
Okay. So he might have written the lore and the overarching theme, or the overarching story.
Yeah, they come back to try to cross.
Maybe that's why some of these games are good.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. So you're getting to where I'm going to now. So one thing I know we don't know if we can place blame on him for Final Fantasy 15 because he was working on 13. They took the ideas from 13 and made 15. 13 was in the Crisis or the Crystal Core engine. Yeah. Then it got switched over to the Luminous engine.
Which was the Final Fantasy 13 engine.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it got switched over to the Luminous engine, which is in Final Fantasy 15.
And they had to rebuild the game?
Yes.
From scratch, right?
Yes.
Jesus.
And when that happened, there was a transition between 2012 and 2013 where Habata took over. Habata took over and he had to write the whole story, everything over again. Because Square Enix did want this huge Final Fantasy universe where you got the mobile game, you got the VR game, you got the anime.
The anime.
Yeah, so all that. The VR game actually did get released.
It did?
Yeah.
What?
It was a fishing game.
I thought it was... Oh, you're right. You're correct. Holy shit. That was the one with the... What was it called?
Monster something.
Monster of the Deep or something? Oh, my God.
Yeah, no. So you have all these games... And
fucking hell.
So Nabata, he wanted it to be one game. He didn't want it to be multiple games. He didn't want the narrative to be on multiple games. But this project was already in the works, and Square Enix pretty much said like, "Hey, this is speculation at this point, but I'm pretty sure Square Enix like, hey, we can make a lot more money if we just, here, our fans are retarded or not retarded. I'm sorry, our fans are crazy."
Go ahead,
because we are the fans, so I can probably call myself retarded. So yeah, our fans are crazy and they love this game.
They're fanboys.
Yeah, they're fanboys.
Yeah,
so I don't think Nabata wanted to do this, but they did it, and that's why I think the game was released in such a way.
That's probably why he left.
Yeah, it's probably why he left. On top of that, they had a lot of issues with the Luminous engine. It just wasn't working.
Square. Yeah. Can I just say something to Square real quick?
Okay.
There's plenty of engines out there that are very, very competent and they work, and you can buy them. Stop building your own fucking engines. Stop it. You're not good at it, and it makes your games take forever to come out. So, stop it.
Which leads us on to Kingdom Hearts 3.
Fuck, man.
So the first year Kingdom Hearts 3 was developed in the Luminous engine. And then they switched it over the second year.
Yeah, so they had to rebuild the game.
They had to rebuild the game Unreal. A lot of the assets were actually transferable over to Unreal because Unreal is very universal like that.
Yep.
He actually wanted to do this right after he made 2.5.
Okay.
Or not 2.5, but
2.8?
Not 2.8.
No, not 2.8.
The Final Mix. He wanted to do it right at the Final Mix.
Oh, Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I don't know what happened in between there. It really doesn't give me anything. They said it was too early.
So the way I'm taking this right now is that he didn't necessarily want a bunch of side games to come out.
No, he wanted to do this right after 2. I keep calling it 2.5, but Final Remix.
Dude, I don't understand how that would even work, because without some of the side games, the games don't make sense, in my opinion. Some of them.
That's
necessary.
why I think they pushed it back a little bit, because I think
somebody
PSP,
must have been because Birth by Sleep, I mean, dude, this game wouldn't have made any sense without Birth by Sleep.
Exactly. I don't think he wanted a Birth by Sleep. If you look at the deep files of Birth by Sleep, there are Toy Story worlds in there.
Okay.
It's a lot of files in there. If you data mine it, it's a lot of stuff in there that they wanted to include, they couldn't. So
this is starting to sound like a tragedy, dude.
Yeah, so he started to work on it in 2013. That's when development really started. When Sony announced it, but they didn't have any playable demos of it or anything like that.
No, they had that short little gameplay they showed.
In the Tangled world. That was the Luminous engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they changed it over into the Unreal Engine. And yeah, that's pretty much. I'll let you guys judge it from there. Like, then the development of Kingdom Hearts 3 began, and he was working sorely on that. But from what I've gathered, he also wanted to work on some other stuff as well. He also had his hands in a lot of other projects, such as Cross Union or Union Cross, and the other side project games as well. And also, as far as the HD remakes and stuff like that, he had his hands in that. So he was stretched thin.
So we'll talk. I think we'll talk about this more towards the end of the future.
Yeah,
I'm concerned of where he is and how much they're utilizing him, and the fact that Tabata's gone, I think is it's going to make this worse. And he seems like he's very scatterbrained as well. Like he really wants to work on a million different things at once. So okay, you have anything else, or you want to just jump right in?
Yeah, we can just jump right in.
Okay. So, we're going to go world by world and kind of give our thoughts on each world. Then we'll talk about the end of the game and then the game as a whole. So, if you haven't finished Kingdom Hearts 3, you don't want to get spoiled, turn it off now, because we are going to spoil the shit out of everything. Like, we're talking full spoilers.
3, 2, 1.
No, hold on. General thoughts without spoilers, just really quickly. I really don't like the game. I think it's a really bad Kingdom Hearts game. I think it's an average game outside of Kingdom Hearts. I think it does a lot of things poorly. I think the story's poor. I think the combat doesn't feel great until late in the game. And that's it for me. What about you?
I really didn't like the game at all.
Yeah.
Every aspect of the game was poorly designed, in my opinion. Well, you know what? I wouldn't say that. If this game was another IP, then it would be an okay game.
Yeah.
Like the combat, everything like that. But since it's Final Fantasy. Since it's Kingdom Hearts, it just didn't do it for me.
I agree.
It didn't capture each game. Kingdom Hearts game captures some kind of nostalgia with me. When I played Birth by Sleep for the first time, it felt like Kingdom Hearts. When I played Dream Drop Distance, it felt like Kingdom Hearts. Still, this game felt like a shadow of itself or a shell of itself.
It really did. Oh.
And we
okay, let's jump in.
Yeah,
so we're going deep now. If you don't want any more, if you don't want any spoilers, we'll see you next week. All right. Okay. So getting started. Anything? Do you have any thoughts on the early game before you go to Olympus? There really not much happened before that, but
so before I go to Olympus,
not much happened.
No, I mean, it kind of just left right off after Dream Drop.
Right after Dream Drop. Yeah.
So I was expecting that. I like that.
Me too.
Yeah. So
yeah, me too. You start in Olympus, and this. I mean, we said this last time, and me in particular, I thought this world was a really bad start to this game. I thought this world was boring. The voice acting was really poor in this world. Phil was just sticking out to me. He didn't fucking talk at all.
Yeah, you're right.
I will say it was cool to finally be able to explore this world. That was something that I really liked, because it's always just been the Colosseum for the most part in every game that it's ever been in. But some of the things that really push this world over the top for me is just the combat was so bad at this stage of the game, because you had access to nothing besides swinging your Keyblade, and the fact that the attractions were just so overpowering and just kind of ruined any nuance to the combat. This world, fighting in this world annoyed the shit out of me. I didn't want to fight anything, I hated it. So I don't know. This world was this is probably one of my least favorite worlds, to be honest.
I didn't mind it. I kind of disagree with you. I didn't mind the world, the introduction, because I pretty much knew we were going to go to that world.
Fair enough. I just don't think anything happened here, though.
Yeah, but that's an overarching thing.
It is.
So,
but again, bad start, right?
Yeah, so Yeah, nothing happened. I really didn't notice the field thing, like, until y'all pointed it out. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
Oh, that jumped out to me so quickly.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
One thing that I quickly noticed was the fucking attractions. And Jesus Christ.
We're going to talk deeper about the attractions, I think, later.
I just wanted to mention, because that's where you first encounter it.
I agree, yeah. I mean, we can talk about them now. Fuck it. Let's just jump into it. Whatever.
I'm like I said, I want to talk about it later because I
kind of want to give general thoughts of the game outside of the individual worlds.
Yeah, so I mean, it was more so like a prelude. So that's why I really don't give the world too much flack.
Yeah, but it was like 3 or 4 hours, dude. For me, it's just like dragged and dragged and dragged.
I will be honest though, for a Kingdom Hearts game, it was one of the better introductions to the game.
I mean, yes.
Because
yes, compared to Kingdom Hearts 2, that is true.
In 1.
I like the beginning.
The island thing? That shit is annoying as hell.
Yeah, but that's only like an hour, dude. You're out of that pretty quickly.
Well, I was watching my girlfriend play, and it took her a while.
She doesn't play video games, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But like for people who just jump into the game, I guess
that's true. Yeah. That's fair.
So it was.
You're right. You're right.
It was more action packed than the first 2 games. So I have to give.
So is this a Nomura thing? Is he really bad at openings? Like, is he bad at the beginning of the game? Like designing the beginning of a game? Because dude, Birth by Sleep, the beginning of that game is fine. Like it's actually good.
I don't remember being mad at Birth by Sleep.
And even Dream Drop. Fine. Yeah, you're right you get thrown right into it.
Yeah, I think this game kind of threw you right into it. They threw you right into the mix.
That's true. It's just the world sucks.
Yeah, I think that's beef.
That's
where me and you disagree about.
That's my beef. Yeah.
I didn't mind it because I'm like, what I was expecting a fucking Kingdom Hearts 2 situation where I'll get like a whole different perspective.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm glad they didn't bullshit me and they just threw me right there.
That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. Okay.
That's probably the only praise I'm giving this game.
I mean, I don't have much else to say about Olympus. Like, it's just blah. Yeah. The whole world is blah. All right. Next one is Toy Story. I know you did Tangled first, but this is what I have on my list. So. All right. You can do them in either order, Tangled, Toy Story, whichever one you want to do. I did Toy Story, Montrell did Tangled. So for Toy Story, this world was... I'm going to say it's probably in the lower half of the worlds I like in terms of my list. It would be in the bottom half. However... that doesn't mean it's terrible.
No, it's not a bad world.
The world looks fucking beautiful. I was blown away.
It looks like you're in the movie.
It really looks incredible. I really like the designs of Sora, Donald, and Goofy as toys. I thought they looked really cool. Cute and charming. The world design is also really, really cool. I love the toy store. I thought it was awesome.
The voice acting is really good too.
Yeah, I thought for the most part the voice acting in this world is good. Woody, I caught in the credits at the end of the game that Jim Hanks was listed, and that's
his brother.
Yeah, Tom Hanks' brother.
Okay.
He often plays characters that his brother played as a kind of replacement, to fill it. And dude, he did a fantastic job as Woody. He sounded exactly like his brother.
We thought it was Tom Hanks for a
moment. I really did. The person playing Buzz though was stiff, man. Stiff, and the way they wrote Buzz was really mad and just didn't trust Sora for the entire world, and it's just it really felt off.
Yeah, it didn't feel like Buzz.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it didn't.
I feel like they tried to maybe go with a different route there, but they didn't have enough time to do it.
Probably. And dude, he never said to Infinity and Beyond. Come on.
Yeah,
you're right.
Fuck? You're right.
What the fuck? But voice acting otherwise, actually, Rex and Ham's voice actors, I think those are the people from the movie.
They had to be.
They had to be, because they were perfect. They sounded perfect.
Yeah.
They were getting the tone of the characters as well, the way they act.
Exactly.
Rex was hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
He was really funny. I really liked him. You got any thoughts on any of that so far? Any voice actors?
I mean, I agree with you. The voice acting and everything was really good. I guess we can get into the story mode. Of
the plot.
The plot. So the plot didn't make any sense. Everyone disappeared, so there's a duplicate world, right?
My God. This world's a mess. God damn it!
It doesn't make any sense. Me and Justin we talked about it. I think he kind of disagreed with me on this, but I feel like the plot should have been completely different. I feel like they should have introduced a villain to the world. They should have used Emperor Zurg or somebody like that.
No, I agree with you on that.
Oh, okay.
I had no problem with that. No.
Yeah, I think they should have used...
There was no antagonist for the entire length of the world.
The time you're going... Everyone's missing. Andy, the mom, and then...
half the toys.
Yeah. So then you go through this... you go to this world, you're playing the mechs, which are kind of fun at first, but then they become really repetitive really quickly.
Yeah.
Not to mention, now I did talk to Dennison about this, one of our friends. He didn't have any trouble finding some of the stuff. Like, you remember how I told you to go to the Toys and Toddlers?
Yeah.
And then go to that world, go to the other one.
Yeah.
So he didn't have me. Maybe that was just a me and you thing.
Dude, I saw this online. It's hyper confusing. The game drops a single line where it says go to the kids section of Toys and Tots.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, in my brain it's a place within the store, right? No, it's a completely different section of that floor that isn't labeled Toys and Tots. It's just it's just a kids play area.
It's a kids play area.
And yeah, it's like I walked around for like 30 minutes trying to find it, and I ended up finally looking at it, and I was like, oh, I'm an idiot.
And then once you get, this is an overarching thing with each world. Once you get there, you're like, all right, man, I'm just ready to go, ready to fight the fucking final boss at this point.
Yeah,
because you meet Xemnas or not,
young Xehanort. Yeah, when you enter the store.
Yeah, so
he taunts you.
For a little minute.
Seconds.
That's another thing we're gonna talk about. So you get there, and you're like, at this point, you're like me and Justin. I was searching around for about 20-30 minutes. Justin, I'm assuming, was searching around for about 20-30 minutes.
Yeah, I was.
And other people too, but no one mentions this shit. I get there and I'm like, all right, bro, let's just go. Mm-hmm. Oh no, you gotta do this one thing.
There's another 30 or 45 minutes of shit nothingness. You have to do. Yeah,
it's you have to. It's just, it's fodder. It's nothing but cannon fodder.
It's there's a little mini puzzle you have to do too, where you have to make the cactus show up, and then it's dude, so that is the theme with these early worlds is they drag all the worlds badly. I know, but these two in particular, Olympus and Toy Story, they were the longest two worlds in my opinion.
They were not fun to play,
and they weren't fun. And like you were saying about the mechs, is at first they were fun, and honestly, the combat's so bad early in the game that I actually was still using them late in the game, even though I was sick of them because I didn't want to fight with my Keyblades, so I was like, fuck it, this is faster, I'm just going to do it this way.
They definitely designed a Toy Story world where you had to use the mechs, in my opinion.
100%. Dude, because if you're trying to fight the mechs early game with nothing, with your Keyblade, good luck! You're going to get your ass destroyed, because there's a fight in the kids section of Toys and Tots, in that play area where you fight 3 mechs at the same time, and you don't have access to a mech to fight them with.
Yeah, you guys.
You have to kill. You have to kill one of them in order to get access to one. And dude, that fight, I got stuck on that for 30 minutes because it's so hard at that section of the game. Because you don't. Sora sucks. He sucks. He's terrible.
So you get past that section, guys. You go to the final boss area. Buzz gets taken control because for some strange reason Buzz is just, he doesn't have the heart that
he's the dark character
he's a dark character in this world. We all watch Toy Story, play Toy Story games. Buzz is always the do good person.
He's the upbeat. Yeah, he's the Captain America.
Yeah.
He's the Boy Scout. Woody's the one that had darkness.
Yes.
Right?
Woody knocked Buzz out the window.
Dude.
So that happens. You beat the boss. And guess what? So I initially thought, like everyone else, hey, we're gonna come back to this world because that's the formula for every Kingdom Hearts game. You don't save anybody. There isn't a resolution. You get Buzz back, but besides that, and you get the other 2 toys, Ham and Rex, back.
Yeah. But all the toys that were missing are still missing. Andy's
missing. The world's still empty. There's still a duplicate of this world out there.
So young Xehanort made a duplicate of the world where all the other people are trapped, and there's Sora doesn't save them
for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah,
that's it.
He just leaves that's okay. He's just cool with it. He's like, well, sorry guys, we couldn't get your friends back, but we got other places to go, which. More on that in a minute. Sorry. And they're like, oh, it's cool. We'll figure it out. No, they won't. They have no idea what the fuck's going on.
They don't even know who the Heartless is.
They don't even know what the Heartless are. How are they going to figure it out? They're just going to sit around in the fucking room until Andy comes back, which he's not because you didn't save them. But, dude, the thing is Sora...
Oh my god!
He goes to these worlds, and
he's the biggest plot hole in this game.
He goes to the biggest plot hole. He goes to these. The thing is, remember at the end in the credits, they show the Toy Story world for a second, and the door opens like Andy's coming in or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So the world is saved because young Xehanort got killed.
Gotcha.
Right. So whatever power he used got nullified. Whatever. But the thing is like Sora doesn't have any drive early in this game, and this is an obvious indicator of that, because he's like we got we got to go to other worlds, and it's like, bro, why? What reason do you have to go to any of these other worlds? Because every world you show up to, you're like, man, I don't know why we're here. Let's just wander around.
I was going to mention that when we got to after we finished the Tangled world, but
we're going to mention it multiple times because it happens in every world.
So you got anything more thoughts about?
No,
Toy Story?
Not really. The boss fight, whatever. The stupid UFO, it was pretty not memorable. But okay. So moving on, Tangle's the next one. So what'd you think about Tangle?
I actually enjoyed this world.
This is probably my favorite world.
Yeah, this is the second one for me. Yeah, Monster Inc. was the other one, but this is my second favorite world. The voice acting was good. I'd never seen Tangle.
I'm pretty sure they got the movie voice actors for everybody that was in the game.
Yeah.
They got Zach Levi, who's Flynn or whatever. So I'm pretty sure they got them all. Yeah.
All right. So the narrative tied in with the Kingdom Hearts theme. They didn't do a lot of stuff off screen, which we'll get to that later.
Yeah. They gave you enough to understand the main crux of the movie plot.
Exactly. Right? Pretty much. Yeah. I didn't mind. Honestly, people were bagging on the minigame. I didn't mind this dancing minigame part. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fine. It was there.
The voice acting, like I said, to me, this is probably one of the best voice actings in the world, in Kingdom Hearts history, probably.
This world was pretty long, too. This was, probably clocked at 4 hours for me, too.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
However, this was a good 4 hours because it was full of story scenes where they're establishing Rapunzel and Flynn and really kind of giving us, a look into who they are and how they operate and why they're doing what they're doing. Yep. And even the villain gets a little bit of screen time to kind of understand their motivations and why they're doing what they're doing.
I'll let you go.
The end of this, though, it happens really fast. You can tell there is a lot of shit that happens off screen, but they gave us enough early to really kind of still understand what was going on and still feel somewhat invested. I feel like in the characters. I will say Marluxia, this is going to be a theme with these worlds, but
out of place.
Marluxia is extremely out of place. He shows up and does nothing and makes fun of Sora and just leaves. I don't it's like, dude, it's like these guys are like bullies on a fucking schoolyard. like, hey Sora, your hair looks dumb.
Yeah, so you fight the nobodies in this world the first time in the game. Yeah. I don't know why they're there. I don't know.
Because Marluxia's there.
Marluxia's there.
In theory, right?
And then the Heartless are there as well. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean the game that world flowed really cool, in my opinion. Only thing I didn't like is is the recurring theme in 6 out of 7 of the worlds.
7 worlds, yeah.
Yeah, 6 out of 7 of the worlds. I thought I was gonna fight her mother or who was her stepmother, the girl, the woman who kidnapped her. I thought I was gonna fight her. Yeah. And you fight a Heartless that comes out of nowhere. And
it's just a giant bush monster.
Like a giant flower. You're like, what? Wait, what's going on here? Yeah. So I'm thinking like, okay, cool. I'm going to fight this monster. Because this is my first world off of Hercules, off of Olympus. Yep. So I fought this monster. And I'm like, okay, cool. But I noticed the monster's health bars are a lot. So I'm like, this got to be the final boss. Yeah. But from coming off of the title games, I know in the side games you fight giant boss like Heartless or unversed characters. Yep. But in the title games, you always fought the villain.
The Disney villain.
Yeah, the Disney villain. And in Tangled, you didn't fight her mom. Her mom didn't have any super sweet powers or anything like that. Yep. You just fought the giant flower monster, and that was it. Yep. And they tied up the world pretty cool, but that's my only gripe with this world was the boss fight. The boss fight was cool, but I wanted to fight a Disney villain.
Yep. Other thoughts? I thought the levels design was actually really good.
Oh yeah.
Like adventuring through the world, it felt really cool. There were a lot of interesting sections to it. There was a lot of interesting platforming in some of it too. There was a lot of hidden nooks and crannies if you really looked deeply as well. I thought also the music. This was the first stage where the music really stuck out to me. I will say Toy Story had good music too. I thought they really captured.
We didn't mention the story.
Yeah, we didn't mention the music, but I think they really captured the feeling of Toy Story in this world with the music. Yeah. I thought they did a good job with that. Otherwise, it's really all. I think the other big thing again is that the world's plot has no bearing on the main game's actual plot, which is, as we said, going to be a theme. But I'm going to mention it in every world that it happens in, because it's an important point to my feelings on this game as a whole. Because the world plot had no bearing at all. If you take Marluxia out of this world, nothing changes. Nothing changes. Like, everything could have played out exactly the same as it did. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
So then you get your mid-game cutscene, because you're like, or I say your one-third.
Worlds,
your one-third cutscene.
Yeah.
And it kind of advances the plot forward. You meet some characters and everything like that.
Yeah.
And
this is where you meet Ienzo, and you see Kairi and Axel talk for the first time, right? And Axel sees
and you play as Riku
face. That's right, you play as Riku, and their Keyblades break, which makes no
whatever
sense.
Fucking reason.
Sure, apparently that's
plot
something that can happen now, but great, awesome. And Mickey doesn't do anything. So
oh my god,
that was good.
So you see this and you're like, yeah, finally something's happening. Woo! Yeah.
Nope. Put the brakes on, buddy.
Where did you go to after this?
I went to Monsters Inc. next.
Okay, I did Frozen.
You did. What the fuck, man? Come on. What the hell? Okay, which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go Monsters Inc. I like that.
Frozen,
I really like
Frozen's
that
going to be a thing.
Yeah. Let's go Monsters Inc. Let's get it out of the way.
So for me, my this was a good portion of the game for me.
I really enjoyed Monsters Inc.
Well, because I played Tangled and Monsters Inc. back to back. These are two of my favorite worlds, probably.
Okay.
These are probably my two favorite worlds, actually. And I played them back to back, so that's about 7 to 8 hours of gameplay where I was really having a fun time.
Yeah,
the combat still, the combat still felt a little crappy in ways, but I was getting used to it. I was just kind of dealing with it. And yeah, Monsters Inc. Was cool. It's an original story. It wasn't based on any of the movies. They kind of made up their own story, which I didn't have a problem with in this world, though, because it actually had a proper setup, and you really understood the character motivations, and you got to see how he came back to what's the guy, the chameleon guy?
Randall.
You got to see how he came back and why you already knew he wanted revenge, so
I thought the whole world premise was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought Vanitas showing up there, and they're using different
the Unversed show up because Vanitas was in this world.
I thought that was really
cool. That was a cool touch.
Yeah, and
that was a cool touch.
I thought, rail riding and everything like that. I thought the whole world was cool. Yeah, it was designed really cool.
Dude, running around the Monsters Inc. building was really fun.
Exactly.
Like, it was really fun because they really, like, this was one of the worlds I feel like they put a lot of effort into designing.
Yeah.
Because, dude, that section with the doors thing where you're riding on the rails was that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool.
And then you go outside and then the whole building's on fire, and then like the
hazmat suit guys come down.
They come there, and I thought the world was really fleshed out. Like, you felt like you were a part of that world.
This was definitely up there. I think it's right below Tangled in terms of my favorites.
Same.
I thought the boss as well in this world was really a fun fight. There were actually very distinct phases to it, and you really had to be smart and strategic in how you fought.
My only gripe, once again, I thought we were going to fight Randall, but we didn't. We
did not.
We fought another...
Which...
Unversed. Was it Unversed this time, right?
Yeah, it was Unversed.
Yeah.
I am wondering, I guess we'll talk about this towards the end of the worlds, if that was a Disney thing, maybe. Potentially Disney mandated thing, because it was I'm pretty sure you didn't fight a... No, actually, that's not true. We'll get there, I guess.
Yeah. I guess that's why I say it's 6 out of the 7 worlds.
Yeah, so we'll get there. Even the battlefields themselves that you end up fighting in were interesting, given it's kind of different from what we're used to with Kingdom Hearts, where you were fighting in you were fighting in a modern looking building, right? With there were heaters and all sorts of gadgets and things that you're not really used to.
Environmental hazards.
Yes, there were environmental hazards. Yep, you could blow things up, which was pretty cool. I thought this was a good world. I thought the voice acting was good. The stand-ins for Sully and Mike were pretty good. I am wondering if Mike's voice actor was the guy from the movie, because he sounded close.
Exactly like him.
Real close. Real close.
I know Sully wasn't really, but that guy, that voice actor did a good job.
He did good, though. He did well enough. Yeah, he did well enough.
I thought everything was cool.
And this might be the one exception to the worlds not having an impact on the main game.
Yes,
Vanitas shows up and he actually tries to do some shit. I'm frustrated with it because I like Vanitas as a character. He's very snarky and confident and mean.
Yeah.
But he's a get shit done kind of villain. Like, he shows up for a reason, and he's not fucking around. He's not sitting there like, hey, Sora, your hair looks dumb, and walks away. No, he actually tries to do something here.
Yeah,
like,
he actually tries to kill Sora. So
yeah, he's trying to pull Ventus out of Sora's heart.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they didn't know that, so that was an important plot detail, actually.
Yep.
And I like that. This is the kind of thing I wish that the game had more of, where things kind of were advanced somewhat by the world's story.
Yeah.
95% of this world's story had no bearing on the overall plot, but that final section where Vanitas shows up was cool. I was just annoyed that you didn't fight him. Like, what the... Like, why? This is, like, 7 out of 7 worlds, characters show up from... Well, actually, not Olympus, I guess. 6 out of 7 worlds. But characters from Organization 13 show up, and you don't fight them. You never fight them. Yeah, I don't know why.
Even on Olympus, you didn't fight Hades. Like, I wanted to fight Hades again. I wanted a rematch because he's so mad at you, he remembers you.
Yeah, dude. Like, why didn't we fight Hades? I mean, I guess they don't want to retread old ground, but you can redesign the way he fights, to make the boss fight different. You don't have to do it the same way it was done in Kingdom Hearts 2, right? So, that was kind of annoying to me. Is like, I thought fighting Vanitas at that point in the game would have been cool. Yeah. It would have been really interesting. And he almost succeeds, actually, in pulling Ventus out of Sora. But, he gets stopped at the last minute by Mike and Sully, and, that's the end of it, pretty much. But at least they got a plot detail out of it, though, that, like, Sora and Donald and Goofy were like, Ventus is in Sora? Like, that's...
Yeah,
wow,
and they actually I played that world last, so they actually segue right into that. So that's why that world was pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
But
the next world.
Oh my fucking god!
Frozen. This is
Do you want to build a fucking snowman?
The worst world by far. There's no question. There's a massive chasm between this world and the next worst world.
People love this fucking world.
I don't know how. This world sucks ass. It's awful. This world is awful. And dude, I wrote a full page of notes on this world by itself.
Go ahead.
Because
go ahead. Take it away.
Oh my god. So, let's start with the good. The world actually does look pretty beautiful.
Yes.
I think it looks good. But unfortunately, given how beautiful it looks, the design of it is really poor. It's boring. It's just boring. You're just walking through forested mountainside the entire time. And that is because the game throws you off the mountain 3 different times and makes you climb back up from different places. It's fucking trash. It's trash. It's just filler bullshit. They're wasting your time. I felt extremely annoyed by this world. I knew it was happening in the moment. Montrell was texting me. Like, I texted him, and he was like, yes, they throw you off the mountain like 3 times. What the fuck, dude? And then the only exception to the environment thing is this random ice labyrinth that Larxene shows up and somehow just builds out of nowhere.
How does she have that power?
I don't fucking know. And the other thing is, like, dude, that's why this game's like really annoying with this shit. Where she shows up, she does this, she throws this on Sora, and Sora's like it takes like 10 seconds for him to get enclosed with it. It's like, bro, you're a Keyblade where you can jump out of this at any time, bro. Like where's your urgency, dude? And like there is no urgency.
Where's the urgency throughout the? Well, no, we can talk about that.
And
later.
then after he gets locked in here, somehow it's built inside some alternate dimension portal or something. It's not actually built in the world.
Yep.
I mean, what the fuck with this shit? It's just like, it's just pulled out of his ass.
So before you get onto the labyrinth, you meet Elsa.
Oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. Oh my god. So you meet Elsa for the first time. This is great. I mean, do you want to explain this, or do you want me to do it?
So, I mean, Elsa is obviously struggling with her ice powers and stuff of that nature. Yeah. She has a darkness. She has
we meet her basically at the beginning of the movie, right? Yeah. What I assume is the beginning?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's the beginning of the movie. I guess as well.
Neither of us have seen the movie.
So yeah, we neither of us seen the movie. But I was expecting, Kingdom Hearts to kind of carry me through, even though I haven't seen the movie. Bad fucking choice. But
yeah,
character shows up. First, we have some interesting plot points that can be set up here. The characters show up. The Heartless show up right behind her. They don't attack her. They're just like chilling there, kind of being like they're with her. So if you know the movie, she's struggling. She has a little bit of darkness inside her, even in the movie. Yep. So we're kind of expecting that. So she kills one of the Heartless, and then she tells Sora to leave her the fuck alone. Sora's like, what's wrong with you? Leave me the fuck alone, Sora. Yeah. Bye.
That's it.
This
is their first meeting.
This is their first time meeting on this world.
100%. Actually, another thing that triggered me with this world, too, is they show up in this world. Sora, Donald, and Goofy show up, and, like, I think Donald's like, oh, I wonder why we're in this world. And Sora's like, fuck if I know. Let's just walk around. Oh, look, there's a girl over there. Let's go follow her. Like, I don't, like... there's got to be a reason for things.
Sora is so creepy in this game. That Lark scene, the villain was like, bro, you're being kind of creepy
in this world. Yeah, so let me lay the events up for everybody, just so we can epitomize how creepy Sora is in this world. Because yeah, they show up, they're like, oh, I don't know why we're in this world. Oh, look, there's a girl running across the water. Let's follow her. So they follow her up the mountain without knowing anything about her, and then they meet her and they talk to her briefly, and she's like, fuck off, guys. I don't want you, like, go away. I don't want to deal with you right now. And she runs up the mountain, and then Sora's like, man, she's really sad. I wonder why. Let's keep following her. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay, dude. Sure. And then he goes up the mountain, and like you said, at the top, he gets to the top of the mountain the first time, and Larxene shows up and is like, bro, you're being real creepy right now. You're following her, and she doesn't want you to follow her. And then, I mean, Sora pulls the old,
you are too.
The old, yeah, you are too, though. You know, it's like, that makes what he's doing okay somehow. Yeah. You know, and then, you know, he gets thrown off the mountain by the ice snowman or whatever. So then he decides to go up the mountain again. He's like such fucking bullshit. He goes up the mountain again because he's like, man, she's still really sad. I really want to know why. But
and there's no indication, guys, by the way, that the Heartless is following her.
None. Like, zero.
The first time, he had no motivation to follow her. The second time, I can see because Larxene's up there. So he's like, okay, Larxene's up there. I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
But the first time, it made no fucking sense.
Yeah.
But continue.
So the other, let's do this properly, right? So like they get to the top of the mountain the first time, and she's building that ice castle that she does in the movie.
Yeah.
It's basically a shot-by-shot remake of the Let It Go song, and she sings the whole song. This is inserted for no reason other than because, I don't know, they wanted the Let It Go song in here. This doesn't serve any purpose. Jeez. It served zero fucking purpose in this game.
I skipped it. I
didn't because I wanted to see how far it went. I was like, are they doing the whole song? They doing the whole song right now? Man. And they did. They did the whole song. It was basically almost exactly a reshot remake of this scene.
It was a reshot.
It was not. Like, when I was watching it, I was wondering if they just took it out of the movie, put it in the game. They did not.
Yeah, they
remade it in the engine.
Yep.
They did a good job with that. It looks beautiful, but the scene serves no purpose. We don't know anything about Elsa at this point in time. Like, what are we supposed to glean out of this song? It nothing. I didn't get anything out of it. And then Sora gets thrown off the mountain, and then he goes back up again, and you still don't see Elsa. She's not there. Like, you don't know why. And then you get thrown off the mountain again by your stupid fucking snowman after fighting him, and then all of a sudden Sora just randomly sees her being carried by some guy, and he's like,
we didn't even get to the part about her before that.
Fuck, man.
Before that, you meet her sister.
Oh, I know.
Who you don't even know is her sister until her sister says, like, I think, yeah, we're following some girl, and like, yeah, they just
happen to mention Elsa, and they're like, oh, it's the same person.
And
let's
go
together.
You get to this annoying ass part of the game where, like, their friend, I forgot the little snowman guy.
I'm over here.
Yeah, he breaks apart, and you gotta find him and put him back together again.
Oh my god!
And it's the most annoying.
This is the worst part of the game
ever.
It's the worst part of the game
because he keeps talking and he won't fucking shut up.
I'm over here, guys. Yeah. Oh, you're getting close now. I'm over here.
Yeah, it's retarded. It's the most stupid thing ever. And
the annoying part about it is he's constantly talking, but his voice volume does not go up and down based on where you are.
Yeah, there's no indication of where you should go. Like
and Goofy says things like, "Oh, you're getting close, Sora," and it's like you're actually not though. You're nowhere near him. Like he's just randomly saying it. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this shit? This is ridiculous. I hated this section.
The distraught in your voice right there. Actually not, no. That shit was so funny.
It's bullshit. I hated this portion of the game. Like, this world sucks. It's awful.
Okay, so you get thrown off the mountain. There's this terrible sledge section that you go through.
Oh my god. We're just jumping around so much.
Man. So then you get to the final part where
Sora randomly sees the guy carrying Elsa, and darkness just comes off of him. Just comes off of him. Okay, I guess we should keep following her now.
Okay, so I was lucky enough to have my girlfriend there right next to me playing the game. Dude. And she was like, "Oh, that's the guy that's in the movies that wants to marry Elsa and everything of that nature." So, another part we skipped was, when you do go back to the mountain for the third time, because you don't go back up to the castle anymore.
Yeah.
So you get thrown out the mountain. Before you get thrown out the mountain that third time, Elsa shoots an icicle into her sister's heart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That does happen.
Yeah, and during that cutscene, before that cutscene, they saying, "Do you want to be a snowman?" But someone's talking over that,
talking over the song,
explaining what's going on, right? So
this is so bad.
It's so badly designed, and like I wish, you know what, guys, if you haven't played the game, you're like whatever, watch a playthrough of this game.
This world specifically,
please.
Just this world.
Don't even watch the other worlds. Just this world. This world will turn you off this game so much, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. And yeah, so the guy shows up carrying Elsa. He turns to a Heartless, and then Elsa's sister Anna, I think it's her name, right? She turns to ice.
She turns into
and
a
you
statue.
gotta fight this random wolf Heartless. Like, he transports you to a different dimension. That fight was pretty cool. The fight was pretty cool.
The fight's okay, but dude, so okay. We've gotten through the main crux of the plot of this world. The problem with this world, dude, is that Elsa is supposed to be the main character that you're like associating with, and she's barely in the world. You meet her at the beginning, and then I think you see her briefly for one short scene in the middle, and then you don't see her again until the very end. She barely ever says anything to you.
You don't fight with her.
You don't fight with her.
You don't fight against her. Like
what the fuck? The entire plot of this fucking movie happens off screen.
It would have been so cool if you fought her because she was so she got turned by the darkness.
We talked about this, right? Like you were talking about earlier at the beginning, right? When you first meet her, the Heartless don't attack her immediately.
Yeah.
It would have been cool if she could have commanded them and she starts to harness darkness instead of light, right?
And you gotta unlock her heart.
And yeah, exactly. You have to help her reestablish herself in the light or something like that. That would have been cool. But they didn't go down that path at all. They just made Sora look like a fucking creep, dude. He's just following this girl he's barely talked to. He knows nothing about. Like, he has no reason to think that she's an important person either. And this is my other issue with this game, is that they just show up in worlds and just so happen to be in the right exact place, talking to the right exact person, right when they land in the world, without knowing anything about the world, saying they don't know anything about the world. Like,
I will. All the Kingdom Hearts do that. They all.
This one does it worse than any of them, though. At least there's a reason to be in the world.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right.
Like, this game doesn't give that. Like, in Kingdom Hearts 2, they needed to be in the worlds because the Heartless were there. They knew the Heartless were there, and then the Nobodies were there. They knew that.
Yep,
and then in Kingdom Hearts 1, it was the same thing. They knew the Heartless were there. They were going, right?
Yeah.
And they were going to worlds the Heartless were in. That was the point. In this game, it just... They don't even mention that,
for
really.
King Mickey,
Yeah, they're just... Why do they look for King Mickey, though? What you talking about in this game?
In one.
Got it. Got you. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You were about to throw me off. Sorry.
But yeah, in this game, like I said, I'll mention, because before we get to the final act, I'm gonna mention some stuff. But yeah, so that's it for this world. Like, I'm fucking done with this world. This world was terrible.
The plot in the world made no sense.
It doesn't advance the plot in the main game at all.
It's zero. Lark scene's there again. Sorry, your hair looks dumb. Bye.
Yeah.
Let me lock you in an ice labyrinth.
These villains
Peace.
literally come. Organization 13 literally comes and like, hey, sorry, your butt's fat. Your butt's fat as hell. Like,
they
you're
just
ugly.
make fun of him real quick and leave.
Like, and it's like, okay, like if I was Sora, I'd be like, what? Like.
Yeah, like, what are they doing?
Why are you here, bro?
They're twiddling their thumbs for the entire length of this game.
So then, in between the worlds, Sora does this one thing again where he's just like, "So, Sora, where do we go?" And it's like, "Yeah, Sora, where do we go, guys?"
Go, Sora, where are we going
and then
next?
Sora's like,
I don't know.
Then you got another cutscene for that advances the plot point again. I don't know what happens in between this cutscene. I forgot.
This world?
Yeah. After you do these
fuck
two worlds.
if I know. I don't fucking remember. I don't give a shit.
So, before you get to the next two worlds, what happens in between there?
In the next two worlds?
In between the two worlds.
Don't you see you see Riku and Mickey again, don't you?
Yeah. Oh! Yes. They don't say...
You don't actually fight as anybody, though.
Fucking Aqua. So Aqua becomes
That's
dark.
That's right.
Yeah.
This was the worst. This was the worst, man.
So...
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh my god!
I was gonna mention this later. This is in my notes for the end of the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it happens.
We'll mention it now. Yeah. So Aqua, there's a scene with Ansem the Wise, the actual person. He's in the realm of darkness on the beach that everybody goes to somehow.
Apparently, there's only one beach.
Yeah, apparently there's only one beach. It's somehow weirdly connected to the Destiny Islands. I don't know. Whatever. Then Ansem the Heartless shows up in a dark portal. He just shows up. He's just like, "Yo, I need you. You're coming with me." And then Aqua's with him, though, and Aqua's like, "No, you're not taking him. Fuck you. You're fucking Ansem the Heartless." And she tries to fight him. She doesn't have her Keyblade for some reason.
For some strange reason.
Ansem the Heartless kicks the shit out of her, and then he gives her one little parting gift. He throws some darkness on her, and then she falls into the water, and she just gets completely enveloped in darkness. And this is supposed to somehow indicate that she's like dark now.
Yeah.
Like...
It was terrible.
Dude, we're going to get into why I hate this later.
Yes.
But...
That's what happens, guys. Like,
this happens in the middle of the world.
He just explained shot for shot what the fuck just happened.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's trash.
So now you get to these two worlds. You have Pirates of the Caribbean and you have Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6.
So which one did you... Oh, I think we both went to the same...
I went to Pirates first.
All right, cool. I did too.
Okay, cool. So I think you hated this world more than me. I really didn't mind this world that much. It was not... The reason why I didn't mind this world that much, going into it, I saw there were 56 chests, and I was like, holy shit, this world's fucking gotta be huge, right?
Yeah.
It actually wasn't that big. It only took me about 2.5 hours maybe to beat. All told,
it took me the same.
Maybe
about
3
2 hours to beat.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
So it's not as long as I thought it was, and given that, I didn't mind it. I didn't overstay its welcome. Is kind of why I didn't hate it.
Okay, the only gripe I had with it was I'm not really a big fan of the collecting shit. Like
100%.
They had me collecting
the white crabs.
The white crabs.
Yeah.
I didn't like also, you get to this part where I don't like swim. If anybody knows me, I hate underwater combat.
I mean, who doesn't, dude?
Like, you do underwater combat. Luckily, Kingdom Hearts handles underwater combat pretty solidly.
Yes, it was okay in this game.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't like the mid-tier boss that you fought in the middle of
the fish thing.
The fish thing.
Yeah, that thing was annoying.
Didn't like that.
That fight was easy as hell, actually.
Yeah, the ship combat was actually pretty dope, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was simple enough. Yeah. It was fine. I
didn't like how you had to upgrade your shit by looking for these white crabs off island.
Yeah.
But I guess it was like a kind of a dream come true for someone like you, like to collect the treasure box and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I was going through the world anyways to look for the treasure boxes, so I was just doing them both at the same time. That's why I didn't mind it that much.
But at this point, guys,
done with this game.
I'm done with this game. I just want to advance to the next plot point because
100%. Because the way this world works is they dump you in a section where you have to go through the linear path for about an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden you're in the open world, and then you get to Port Royal, and then all of a sudden you're at the very end of the level. Yeah, like you can literally go to the end right away.
That stupid flying boss. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so my major gripe with this world was everything. The whole plot takes place off screen.
I don't think this is as bad as Frozen. I think they at least establish who the bad guys are and who aren't the bad guys, like who are supposed to be your friends. In Frozen, it's completely like jumbled. I have no fucking idea. This is coming from somebody though who did watch Pirates 3.
I didn't watch Pirates 3.
It may have been different for you. Like you may have had a different experience with it.
Yeah.
I do agree though. I think. I mean, the thing is, Pirates 3's plot is so convoluted and messy. Anyways, it wouldn't have been worth their time to try and explain it to you. Like, it's as messy as this game's plot is.
Okay.
Like, it's just the way they did it was fine in my opinion. Like,
I did like, however, at the end. You meet Davy Jones finally. Yeah. And you fight Davy Jones.
That was cool. That was a cool fight.
Yeah.
I liked the fight in the whirlpool too, where you're fighting, you're shooting at the Kraken.
So the last act of this world was pretty cool. I did like that they didn't replace Davy Jones with a fucking Heartless. You fought Davy Jones.
Yeah.
It felt like an organic fight.
It was natural, right? Yeah. It's what you would expect would have happened.
No random Heartless came out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, they didn't just insert Heartless there to take the place of the character you should fight.
Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot, because this is how nonsensical this guy should be in this, or he shouldn't even be anywhere in this fucking world.
Luke Sword?
Luke Sword. Why?
I didn't...
Why?
You know, it's funny...
He wasn't as annoying as
he didn't do anything, but he fits in this world in a weird way. Like he feels like a natural fit as a character to this world. The way he fights with the cards and everything, and just the way he talks and kind of his personality. He feels like a pirate.
I can give you that.
Like he feels like somebody that would be a pirate. So he actually
but he doesn't advance the plot.
No, he doesn't advance the plot. You're 100% right. 100%. He's literally there to waste your time.
Yeah,
which is true of every world.
Yeah, but he does. You know what? You're right. He does feel natural.
Yeah,
because he has that kind of I'm playing the game, and him and Jack have this banter that's really cool.
Yep.
They have this chemistry.
He plays with Jack. He kind of tricks him.
And... so one thing that we did forget to mention because it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah,
is Maleficent and Pete.
Yeah, well, they haven't shown up a lot yet. They've only shown up twice, I think.
They showed up after
twice
the Olympus World.
Though. Yeah, and then later on in Tangled. They don't show up. They haven't shown up since.
And they're looking for a black box, and that's it, guys.
Yeah, they just show up in the world. They're like, "Hey, is the black box here?" No, okay, let's go. Like that's what they do. There's like a scene for that in a few of the worlds, and then even later in the game.
And they meet Riku, I think, in between one of these worlds as well.
They do?
Yeah, you remember? They meet Riku and they don't know who Riku is.
Oh, young Riku. Right?
No, they meet Riku.
No, they meet young Riku.
Oh, no, they meet the dark Riku.
That's what I was saying.
Okay,
yeah, the young,
so that's
the young
that's
Riku.
in Big Hero 6.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. Otherwise with Pirates of the Caribbean, I thought the music was pretty bad in this world. I really wish they had just used the music tracks from the movie.
Yeah.
The music was really annoying. Like it didn't sound good.
Yeah, I was expecting my dun, 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 dun,
exactly,
dun,
right,
dun, dun,
dude?
dun.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that music.
Overall, though, the world looked good. I thought like when you were running around it's designed pretty well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cool stuff to find.
Yep.
If you like exploration, this is probably going to be your favorite world.
I did like how they incorporated Sora, Donald, and Goofy into the realism of the world.
Yes.
Like they don't feel out of place.
No, they don't.
It does feel a little weird that no one was questioning a giant dog walking in a duck,
or why there was a ship. Why they had a ship all of a sudden.
Yeah. But Sora for himself looks really good. It's placed in like a realism.
Or
type
how
of...
3 people are able to man a giant ship. Colonial ship.
We don't question these things. We just go along with it.
I mean, they would though, to be honest. But whatever. Anyways, I mean, it was okay. It's kind of a middling world. It's middle of the pack, right? For me,
I definitely get it. And then you got. So you want to move over to Big Hero 6?
Big Hero 6. So this is the last Disney World.
I did not mind this world.
I didn't either.
A lot of people hate this world because they said it was empty, but it did have NPCs in it and everything like that.
This world was. I didn't hate this world either. Like
I thought like I said, the plot didn't advance anything at all,
dude.
It did reveal Dark Riku or Dark Young Riku.
Yeah, but okay. But
with the replicas,
this was so irritating. Yeah, he just shows up and like it's I don't.
And then
I don't understand.
Makes a duplicate of is his name Big Hero 6? What's his name?
Baymax.
Baymax. He makes a duplicate of Baymax or the old Baymax, and it's like, what?
Yeah, I didn't see this movie either, so I have no idea the resonance of there being a second Baymax.
Yeah, so
because Hero keeps mentioning that there was an old Baymax, with a different chip or whatever,
and he did mention that he made those,
and he didn't know where they were, foreshadowing that we're probably going to find out where they are, which we do. And it was.
I like this world simply because I could blast through it. Like there was no bullshit.
It was very quick. If you wanted to get through everything without doing anything, you could literally get through this in an hour to an hour and a half easily. You didn't have to do any exploring at all. The exploration in this world was really just one giant sandbox.
Yep.
I liked the sandbox though. I thought it was really cool to jump around like a metropolitan,
I felt like a superhero.
modern. Yeah, it was cool because that was one thing I put in my notes is that this world was really the design was fine, but it was really cool to actually have to use your traversal abilities to get around.
Yeah.
For the first time, like you really don't need to use glide. You don't really need to use double jump almost ever.
Yeah.
You don't really need to use the wall jumping that much. But this world, you kind of can use all that if you want to. And I really like that element of this world. I think that was a unique thing with this world, and I think that was the coolest thing I took out of it.
Yeah,
is that finally all those traversal abilities really felt like they had a use. The plot, though, took place after the movie, from what I understand.
Yep.
It was fine. It's whatever. It's kind of par for the course with this game, with these world stories. As you said, young Riku shows up. He just, again, makes fun of Sora, turns Baymax evil, and then walks away. You know what the thing that annoys me about this world, though? This was another one with the urgency thing. You know how I was talking about Larkscene earlier?
Yep.
It happens again in this world, where it takes like 5 minutes for him to turn Baymax evil, and everyone's just standing there like, what's he doing? Oh my god, what's happening? What the fuck? Like, bro, just attack him. What are you doing? Like, God, something about these games is like so fucking anime about that. like everyone's standing around explaining everything and exclaiming what's going on when they could literally just go fucking attack him and deal with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it just, I don't know. Whatever.
All right, so guys, now we get to the final act, but we're not going to get to the final act because we got to recap some stuff.
Yes.
So, if you're following along, the plot has not been advanced so far. So
very little, very little.
The whole point of Riku, the whole point of Sora going on these missions was to find the Mastery of Awakening, right?
Power of Awakening.
Power of Awakening.
Power of Waking.
Power
Sorry.
of Waking.
Yes.
So, because you failed in Dream Drop Distance, you failed the Mark Mastery exam.
You get captured.
You get captured and everything of that nature.
You lose your body almost gets turned into a vessel for Xehanort.
Exactly.
You lose all your powers as a result. That's what they hammer home at the beginning of this game, is why you're so weak.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
all that happens, and I was just really disappointed at no sense of urgency. Like, we know Xehanort is almost done with whatever he's doing. And we know he's building a squad. We know everything.
He's trying to get his 13 Darknesses together. Yep.
And Xehanort knows Sora's out there getting stronger. Like, no one on both sides is like, hey, maybe I should go try to fuck with them. Yep. I mean, they fuck with him, but it's not in a way where it's like, hey. It's like, oh, hey, look at you, your head's big. Like, and I leave the world. It's
your heart's so full of light.
Yeah. Oh. Like, no one's trying to take over the world or the worlds that we go to.
They're not doing anything evil, really, but somehow they're evil.
Which makes this whole part of the game, 80% of this game,
it sucks. Straight
irrelevant.
Up. It sucks. It just sucks. There's no other way to say it. It just sucks. I like, after I beat the game, my hatred for the Disney worlds grew exponentially because, dude, it's like, why are they even there?
They're literally for like playtime.
It's filler. It's just filler. It's like Naruto filler or something. That's how it feels. And dude, so this is a major thing for me going forward with this series, is that I really believe the structure of these games needs to change. I'm tired of this structure where you go through the Disney worlds for funsies and then, then things actually happen and you get like 4 hours of story. And it's like, why couldn't I get 30 hours of story? Like, what's so wrong with that? Like, it's just an irritating structure, and I wish they would do it more like Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep actually felt like the worlds were short. They didn't, given the nature of the fact that you had to play 3 characters. Yeah. By necessity the worlds were short, but that's fine. I don't need them to be 4 hours.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to be good, I don't need them to be 4 hours. So I'd rather them be short, and then you have things happen between every single world, which is what happened in in Birth by Sleep, and then you had these major moments happen in the middle of the game, which did not happen in this game, where you have a major moment happen in the middle, where, all 3 characters come together, the plot kind of moves forward, you see some things happen, Xehanort's doing his thing, Vanitas is running around, fucking around, being an asshole, and like things are happening. In this game, none of that happens. There's no intermediate moment where the plot advances, where like you have that second act of the game happens, like what happened in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you fight the giant battle against the Heartless and Hollow Bastion. There's no moment like that in this game, and it's like, so this whole section of the game just feels like it's a waste of your time. And even Sora's like the whole time is like, I don't know why we're here, I don't know where we're going, I don't know how to go where we're going.
He says that,
he says that multiple times,
and it makes the player motivation really like,
it's like, I don't want to be here then if we don't know why we're here. Like,
it just harps on it really hard, dude. And the player motivation is just like not there. That's why by the time I got to Pirates of the Caribbean,
you just wanted the game to
I just wanted the game to end. And if I feel like if I had to play that world a little earlier, like if I had to play Tangela, Monsters Inc., then Pirates of the Caribbean, now I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a cool world.
Yeah,
but at this point, I'm like, bro, I don't want to collect no 300 freaking crabs. Like, just...
Yeah, this was right after Frozen for me.
Yeah,
and it was... Ugh.
So now we're getting into the final act.
The other part, too, about the early game that annoys me, too, is that Xehanort is nowhere to be found. He does not make a single appearance in this game until you finish all the Disney Worlds.
True.
Like, he is never present. A bunch of other characters are talking for him, basically. And there's a reason why. That I guess we can just get into it now, is that obviously Leonard Nimoy was the voice actor for Xehanort in the older games, and he has passed on, so obviously they needed to find somebody new. So I think the reason Xehanort is not in this game a lot is because they found somebody new and they didn't want to overexpose that person too much. But the thing is, I'm basing that off of the English game, and this is a Japanese game, so I don't even know if that's necessarily true. You know, it's like maybe they didn't care about that. I don't know.
Because you can choose Japanese.
You can choose Japanese. And obviously for the Japanese, whoever the voice actor of Xehanort is probably still the voice actor of Xehanort.
Yeah.
So, you know, from that perspective, maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But it just felt really conspicuous that Xehanort... that you don't even have a scene where you go to him in his fucking lair where he's like, man, well, Sora's taking forever to find these lights. Maybe we should help him, you know?
Yeah.
Or anything like that. Like, nothing like that ever happens, you know? Like, or, you know, there's no sense of urgency. Like you said, the villains don't do anything villainous, really. It just seems like you're fucking around for a bunch of hours until, like, what was that channel you showed me a video of? I don't remember the name of it. I want to give him credit because he said something. He said something really funny that like typifies basically what happens. Like he basically said was like, Sora, we don't know how to fight. We don't know how to beat Xehanort, so go fuck around for a few hours until we figure it out. And that's literally what this is. Like, that's how it feels when you come out of this, particularly when you get to the end of the game. Like, it just I don't know. It just felt all wrong. You know, just like the urgency was poor. You know, and actually we skipped over a world, Twilight Town as well.
The Cosmonaut Variety Hour. Yeah,
shout out to him. He made a video about, you know, quote, he makes some videos about, you know, his headline's always why this game sucks.
Yeah.
You know, but he made a video about Kingdom Hearts 3, why it sucks. You know, he actually doesn't think it sucks. Like, he said it's fine. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's not good. It's not really bad. But, you know, that's pretty much how we feel about it.
Exactly.
But he kind of made a lot of good points that I agree with on what the issues with this game are. So go check that out, too. But,
and then also, well, I guess we get into that later. So you want to move to the final act?
Yeah, so let's move into the final act. So after you finish the Disney Worlds...
in my opinion, this is the best part of the game.
It is. It is the best part of the game, but it's also the worst part of the game because it feels completely different from the rest of the game because of the structure of it. Like, the way the game plays out is there's tons of cutscenes, there's a lot of set-piece battles, there's very little exploration happening. There's not a lot of you don't go through very big environments for the most part, and it's completely counter to the rest of the game, which is jarring as hell. The other issue with it is that this is where the game's plot falls apart. You know, it completely falls apart. You know,
really?
I mean,
explain that to me.
I mean, are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
Okay, fair enough.
Because, like I said, I was confused at this part. Like, a lot of shit happening. I'm like, okay, what?
So let's start with them getting Aqua. So as we said, Aqua gets blasted by Ansem. This kind of that moment where she gets blasted by Ansem. They show up and Mickey and Riku are fighting one of those demon towers, which is a bunch of little hardness put together. You fight that thing like 5 times, and then Aqua shows up though. And she's evil at this point, right? Like, she's got dark... Like, she has, like, the yellow eyes that indicate that she's fallen to darkness or whatever.
Yep.
But her fall to darkness kind of loses any emotional resonance because it's caused by Ansem. Like, it would have been much more natural if... Because, remember, we've talked about this before. She's stuck in the realm of darkness for over 10 years. Apparently, she lost her Keyblade. Mickey shows up at some point within that 10 years, and... she maybe like had a hope that she was gonna escape with him, and then he just leaves and is gone, and she's still stuck, you know. And then she loses her Keyblade after that. So imagine what that does to your mind, right? Psychologically, you're alone in this evil realm. It's really horrible. Like, you're just trying to survive, and she's alone. So naturally, it makes sense. It's not much of a leap in logic that she might fall to darkness on her own.
Yeah.
You know, she'll have a lot of dark thoughts, depression, whatever. But no, they had to insert a moment where she gets influenced by somebody that we know is dark and turns her somehow with his touch. Like, why do you have to do it that way? You're taking out. You're just like making it. You're creating a reason for something you didn't need to create a reason for.
Exactly. It should have happened naturally. It should have been.
Yes.
The things that she says when you show up is the reasons why she should have went dark.
She should have turned to darkness.
Yeah.
She says a lot of lines, and dude, if you take the Ansem scene out, it doesn't change anything about how that scene plays out later.
Yeah.
It shouldn't, right? So that annoyed me a lot. I mean,
it seems like Nomura had to write a reason why she went dark.
I think he felt like he had to write a reason for everything.
Yeah, yeah. Some things just happened naturally. Like you said, she was down there for 10 years. She says these things where you're about to fight, or when she's about to fight Mickey and Riku, and they finally found her, and she's like, "Yo, you left me here for like 10 years. Like,
what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, what did you think was going to happen? Like, I wouldn't have done that to you," and all this stuff. Like, she's upset, she's angry, and as everyone knows, if you get really angry, the darkness will mess with you in this universe.
Yeah, and you'll fight people that you wouldn't normally fight. And Mickey has no answer for her. Like, his answer is, "I'm sorry." That's it.
And it was, to me, that felt organic, but it was taken away the simple fact that Ansem did this to her.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. It took, as I said, it took away the emotional resonance because it didn't happen naturally.
Exactly.
It was manipulative. Like, it turned into a manipulative moment where the things she was saying were not truly coming from her.
Exactly. You know? And so then another reason I hate this scene is because it takes away everything from Mickey and Riku.
100%.
Sora comes in and saves the day like Goku.
Yeah. So Riku fights the fucking Demon Tower, which Aqua's supposedly controlling. Then Mickey is once again useless, gets captured by the Demon Tower in Aqua. Aqua jumps out of it, takes his Keyblade, and is about to fight Riku. And then, like you said, Sora comes out of fucking nowhere and fights Aqua in Riku's place. This was bullshit. This was a terrible, terrible moment.
Yes.
They robbed Riku of a character moment. They really robbed Riku of a character moment. He should have fought her.
Yes.
And it makes a lot more sense for him to fight her and him to turn her back than it does for Sora to do it.
I would have been even cooler if you fought as Mickey with her. Like, two friends fighting.
Agree.
Like,
I agree.
Like, you've been in the darkness with her for a while.
They did Mickey dirty in this game.
Yeah, man.
They really did, because he's useless every time he's on screen.
Yes.
He does nothing. And I agree with you. It should have either been Mickey or Riku.
Yeah.
Or maybe a combination of the two of them together.
Yeah.
Because Riku makes sense for being the one to fight her because he's gone through this before.
Exactly.
Ansem literally influenced him. You know, so if you're going to play that moment, then it makes sense for Riku to be the one to save her, right?
Yeah, and I want to make something clear. Like, just because this should have happened or we think this should have happened doesn't mean that doesn't justify why this, or does justify. No, it doesn't justify why we think this moment sucks. Just because, maybe I should have been a writer. You know how? So it should have happened like this. Well, it shouldn't happen like this, but it should have just been more organic. Like, if you had wrote the scene better, things would have happened. Not everything needs to be done through Sora. That's my biggest criticism of this game. Everything was done through Sora.
Sora's always the hero,
and it's like.
And it's not justified. He doesn't earn that place.
Exactly.
Like,
he doesn't pass the exams.
He doesn't get the power of waking back by this point in the game either.
So you have all these cool characters who you have played with who've had way more pressing issues than Sora, in my opinion.
Yes. Yep.
Like Ventus seeing all his friends get fucking sucked up and everything like that, and Aqua going into the fucking darkness.
Yep.
Mickey having to save Riku, but having to decide, like, should I save Riku or should I save Aqua, who I've been friends with for years? Like, all that's robbed when Sora lands in that pool and is like, I'm about to fight Aqua. No, man, like, that's just not cool.
He's being an asshole, frankly. Like, almost, like, I understand, like, it's an urgent moment. Like, you want to just deal, like, somebody needs to deal with it. But like, having him come in and do that robs, as I said, it robs Riku of a big moment, and it also it robs Mickey of a big moment too, potentially. And it's just it doesn't feel good. Like, it.
I think I'm one of the few people that look so forward to playing as Mickey, because
me too.
They always talked about how powerful he was.
That would have been cool. We never really get to.
And we never really get to.
Well, not in this game, for sure.
Only time you get to me is when you're in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah. That's the only time you ever get to fight as him. I think Birth by Sleep, didn't you get to fight as him? Or you fought with him in Birth by Sleep?
You fought with him, yeah.
Got it, yeah, 100%.
So you fight her, and then she comes back.
Well, the fight itself, too, just to talk about that real quick.
Yep.
I think you were disappointed in the fight.
I was.
I was also disappointed in the fight. I think it should have been more challenging. Like, she's supposed... Like, dude, think about this. Like, she should be the most powerful character, like, almost in this fucking universe. Like, she's been in the realm of darkness for 10 years by herself.
Yes.
Fighting Heartless. She should be a god with a Keyblade. Like, she should be unstoppable, and given the fact that Sora's lost his powers and is, like, trying to ramp back up, the fact that you beat her solo with him is, like, really...
Yeah,
doesn't feel realistic.
Yeah,
and her fight itself, like, it was okay. It was mildly challenging, but I just feel like she should have been more powerful.
Yeah, she should have had a lot more moves at her disposal, or it should just gave me the overwhelming sense, like, so this is how a Keyblade Master fights.
Exactly.
I didn't get that from that.
I didn't either. Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, so
once that happens, they go to save Ventus, obviously, very quickly.
Yeah.
This section, again, pissed me off. Like, this is my point about this part, the story falling apart, is that they keep robbing characters of moments. Like, and they do it to Aqua now, where
my God.
she decides, like, Vanitas shows up when they're about to save Ventus, and... she's like, no, I'm gonna fight him by myself. I don't need your help. I don't want you to like. You've seen me weak this whole time. I'm gonna fight him by myself.
Which was so cool at the moment.
Awesome, right?
Because you fight as her and she moved. First of all, the gameplay with Aqua in this game is it's good.
She feels really good.
She
dude.
feels and
when
you play as Riku for that short 10-20 minutes,
he feels great.
He feels really good.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah,
we'll get into that later.
So, yeah, when you fight as her, you beat. Or so you thought you beat fucking Vanitas.
Yeah.
And at the end,
she's on the ground.
Like, and you're at the end of the cutscene, because it goes to a cutscene after you beat him. He ends up winning because he kind of baits and switch Vanitas or Ventus out somehow. He kind of.
Well, no, Power... Remember, Sora's watching this. He can't help her because of the bubble she put up.
Yeah.
So he somehow has this mind meld connection with Ventus all of a sudden, and then the Power of Waking thing happens. This is bullshit. But he has that moment, where he's on that platform from the beginning of the games or whatever, where, that music's playing or whatever, and you, like, pick your stats or whatever. Yeah, he goes there, his, like, internal monologue place or whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what it's called. But... he's talking to Ventus, and he's like, man, I need to wake you up. How do I wake you up? And Ventus is like, well, you need to use the Power of Waking or whatever. And, like, Sora's like, but I haven't gotten that power back. And then Ventus is like, what are you talking about? It's here. It's just sleeping. And then Sora's like, he points his Keyblade into the sky or at the floor. I don't fucking remember.
He does the same thing as in Kingdom Hearts 2, where he unlocks kind of the heart.
He just unlocks the heart, and then all of a sudden Ventus is back. He fucking parries Vanitas' like killing blow or whatever, and then Vanitas retreats. But dude, it's just an ass pull.
The more I can't even blame this one on Sora. The more it completely robs
Aqua of the moment. Yeah, because Vanitas is her villain. And Ventus' villain.
Yes.
And Terra's villain. It's not Sora's villain.
Not Sora's villain.
And it makes sense that Ventus would help her, but I just feel... Because, no, I do put this on Sora again. Sora does rob Aqua of this moment, in a sense, because he awakens Ventus, who then intervenes, right? But the thing is like the Power of Waking thing, though, is an ass pull. Why did we go to the Disney Worlds to get the Power of Waking if it was just in him the whole time?
And they do mention to him during the middle point of the game that we forgot to mention that he has 3 hearts inside of him.
Yes.
So he knows what the other hearts are. Everyone kind of knows this at this point, like, oh, maybe it's Ventus' heart in me. But they don't know, I don't think they know his name.
They don't know the third one.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, they knew it was Roxas.
They knew one was Roxas, and then they knew...
No, but they knew it was Ventus. Vanitas says Ventus in
yeah.
Monsters, Inc.
So, like...
That was an important plot thread, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly right. So
they just didn't know where his body was, so that was the problem.
Yeah, they had to get his body. But the point is, he could have reached down inside himself, because he'd done it multiple times before this game.
Yeah,
he could have reached down inside himself and like, hey, where's the Power of Waking, bro? And he could have like, hey, there the whole time, and he could have did this in the middle of the game, like,
dude. But like, so why do we go through the Disney Worlds to get the Power of Waking if this is the way you're going to do it? Like, you didn't get anything out of going to the Disney Worlds.
And I asked people on my Twitter, and they shielded out. They like, he had to go through those he had to go through the worlds to find a Power of Waking. No, he didn't, because he literally mentions in the game, why are we doing this?
He says at this point of the game that I still don't know how to do this. Like, clearly he's learned nothing out of going to the Disney Worlds. Nothing. So it's it's just an ass pull moment, like, in my opinion. He just pulls it out of thin air that all of a sudden Sora figures out how to do the Power Awaken again and uses it to save Aqua, who gets robbed of a character moment. And I just, like, so, like, everything we've talked about so far is bad. This is all bad. All of this. Everything we've spoken about so far. Revolving Aqua and Ventus and all these characters, like, this is shitty. This is shitty writing. Like, I hate this. This part of the game really makes me upset when I'm talking about it. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, so, but long story short, they end up beating Ventus,
he
right?
He retreats.
Yep. And they get Ventus, and then
they go to the Keyblade Graveyard. Now, before they go to the Keyblade Graveyard, they have their, like, one night whatever to prepare, which nobody uses to prepare, first of all. And second of all, Kairi and Sora share a moment where they pull out the Poo fruit or whatever the fuck it's called together.
And it's supposed to be a significant moment.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a very symbolic thing.
Because if you share that fruit, that means, like, you're bonded for life.
You love each other or whatever, right? And, yeah, they don't give it any significance whatsoever. Like, they do this and it just kind of happens. It's like...
And another thing, I know Riku wanted to be alone, but, dude, you guys haven't been with each other for years.
Yeah, it's
and they let Riku sit on the beach by himself. Well, he's talking to the dark side of himself that's still wrapped inside of him.
Which... How is that? Come on. Why is that a thing?
I don't know.
Why is that a thing? Why the fuck is that a thing? That's what I wanted to ask you about.
Why is Dark Riku still there?
I don't know.
And how did they get a replica of that Dark Riku?
It's not...
You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I will say the part about the organization having a Dark Riku, they probably got it from Vexen. It's not explained. He had his research from when he did it the first time in Chain of Memories. That's probably how they got theirs, I imagine.
Oh, you know what? They did say they were collecting data.
Yes.
So they probably could have recreated
They may
them.
have recreated them.
Oh, they probably recreated them from the Chain of Memories.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Vexen did it in Chain of Memories, so they probably had the data from that, and they probably just did it again a little bit better this time.
Okay. That makes sense.
But the fact that Riku had a version of himself that he was talking to within his own heart is like, what? This has never been shown before at all, ever. Like, he had a connection with Ansem in his own heart at a point in time, like within Dream Drop and Kingdom Hearts 2 and some of the other games, but not himself possessed by Ansem when he was younger. That
makes zero sense.
No sense why that's there. So anyways,
that scene happens,
and then we go to the final confrontation. Right, we're going to the Keyblade Graveyard. Everything's all epic. You know, we have this giant fight. We have this giant fight with a huge horde of Heartless and Nobodies. It's a pretty cool fight. It's a nice little set piece.
Everyone else is off screen though. It's just you and
you don't see anybody else. Yeah. It's very Dynasty Warriors-esque. You're fighting massive groups of enemies and just annihilating them. Yeah. Like it's cool though. I thought it was a pretty cool moment. Like it felt cool.
It felt like the Kingdom Hearts 2, but it didn't have as good of an impact as Kingdom Hearts 2 when they did that.
No, I agree with you. And then they beat that, and then they run forward and they go forward through the chasm, and then they have a scene where so
you meet the dreaded demon tornado.
No. First, you meet Terra Xehanort.
Oh, shit, you're right.
Terra Nort shows up, and he's like, yo, I'm evil. Fuck you guys. He tries to kill Aqua and Ventus, and they have a fight with him, and it's actually a really cool scene. Like, the fight's really cool, and then Donald does the most badass thing that Donald's ever done. This is like one of my favorite things out of this game. He casts Zeta Flare on Terra Nort, and he fucking just vaporizes him, dude.
And
like,
if you don't know, Zeta Flare is now the official strongest move, man. Strongest magic move that you can do in Final Fantasy history.
It's an awesome character moment for Donald. Shows his power level that we've never seen before. But I'm pretty sure that move kills you though if you use it right.
They say he just fainted. So.
Okay, fainted. All right, fair enough. But he's in the moment, to me, it felt like he was sacrificing himself.
It felt like he was sacrificing
and it kind of felt that way with the way the rest of the scene goes. So he does that, but then this giant tornado of Heartless forms, and it starts attacking them, and it sucks everybody in basically, except for Riku and Sora, and they're presumably like Sora. The way Sora talks about it, they're all dead. Right. Yeah. That's the way he presents it.
So then you go to heaven.
Well, no, and then Riku has Sora loses all hope. He's like, man, they were my power. I can't go forward like this. And Riku's the only one standing there who still wants to fight, but he tries and fails. He gets absorbed by the tornado, and then Sora blacks out, and he's in quote heaven. Whatever. I guess probably not heaven, but
he's
it's some weird interstitial purgatory thing.
Yeah.
It's called the Final World. And for some unbeknownst reason, Chirithy from the Union Cross game is fucking here. What the fuck?
And then you have Ava, who's if you talk to all the little invisible stars, she gets a cutscene. Yeah, and you talk to her,
which. Dude, we're going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on the fact that these characters are even here in the first place. It's annoying, but continuing on, this part of the game is weird. You have to just run around and collect Soras. You have to reform your body, basically, is what the explanation is. Whatever, you do that, and then you come back to the real world, and then you have to fight a lich, like a Heartless lich.
Oh, I forgot
basically,
about that part.
You go through this gauntlet, you fight this lich 9 different times in 9 different worlds, or 8 different worlds, I don't remember, to save your friend's hearts, or whatever, which you do. You end up saving them all. And then the game time rewinds, basically, to right after you fought the first set-piece battle before Terra Nort shows up.
Yep.
So I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, so this is a time travel thing, so things will play out differently, right?
Yep.
No. Fuck you. Nothing changes. Sora doesn't do anything differently, and all of a sudden Terra Nort shows up, the same events happen, everybody says the same lines, including Sora. Sora's not like, hey guys, we gotta watch out for this giant fucking Heartless tornado. Fuck no, he doesn't say any of that. And Terra Nort shows up, he starts fighting, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, guess who comes to save the day? Terra in his battle armor. What?
And guys, just to let you know, we don't see Battle Armor Terra anywhere in the game after this.
Or before this, either. He just shows up, he parries a blow, and they go off into the distance, and that's the end of it. Terra Nort doesn't show up again.
Don't you fight a tornado?
So Terra Nort goes away, and he's gone for this section of the game, and fucking Armor Terra is gone, and he never shows up one other time. This isn't explained at all. Nobody says anything about it. It just happens and somehow saves them. I don't understand. And then the tornado shows up again, and they're fucking up and failing again, and Sora doesn't really do anything different, and then all of a sudden he jumps into the air and he tries to fight it himself, and then he has a fucking vision of this character from the mobile game who's like, hey, need help? And then fucking Keyblades come out of the fucking ground. They come out of the ground the way Xehanort does it, but Sora's not controlling any of this, by the way. This is just completely ass pulled out of nowhere, and he starts throwing fucking Keyblades at the giant tornado of Heartless, and guess what? They're scrolling fucking names on the screen, and they're names from the goddamn mobile game. It was a mobile game integration they threw into this fucking scene. It's an ass pull. It's bullshit, and I fucking hated it. This shit was trash. This was total and utter trash.
I text Justin when it happened, and I told him, because he wasn't at this part yet, and I told him, I'm like, bro, you're going to be pissed. I told you that. I'm like, you're going to be pissed.
And I was extremely mad.
I said, this game has a ton of ass pulls, and it's ridiculous. I couldn't believe it.
So you're asking me why the story sucks? This is why. Everything we just talked about. This is horrifying.
Yeah.
This is all bad. There's nothing good coming out of this. So, the thing is, the scene where they all fail and everybody dies or whatever, it was kind of cool to see it. You know, it was kind of cool to have that moment where there's they actually falter, and Sora's motivation falters, and his light kind of fails him. You know, but
I just couldn't buy it. I'm sorry.
I agree, though. I do agree with you. Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel like the tornado demon thing was a total random thing, because we never seen these in other Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
we never seen an entity that strong before. Who was controlling the entity? We don't know.
Where does it come from?
And for Mickey not to be strong enough to handle it, for for Aqua not to be strong enough to handle it, for Ventus not to be strong enough to handle it. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
All of them together.
All of them together.
Can't handle it.
Like,
and then Sora can do it by himself?
And why don't they get their armor back?
I don't know. I don't know, dude. And then
so all these things are happening, and I thought maybe when Terra armor blocked it, I thought maybe Sora activated his armor. Like, oh shit, maybe they blended Kingblade armor back.
Yeah.
And then no, it was just Terra.
Yeah.
And yeah, it robs everybody. That's what irritates me the most. It robs everyone in that moment of their chances.
They're just doing the anime thing where they're like, it's the off-screen fighting nothing. Like, they're fighting random enemies.
No, they just gave everything to Goku. I mean, Sora.
Goku.
Yeah, so, like... so
that was the best Freudian slip. Oh, my God.
Because it reminds me of fucking Goku. Like...
It's 100%, yeah.
And I don't mind Goku. Like, I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan. I don't mind it because it's Dragon Ball Z. I understand it. But Dragon Ball Z does the same thing this game does.
Yeah.
Goku robs, like, a lot of people of their moment. And I'm glad that's another story. But they did this in this game. Like, Sora robs everyone of their moment because I guess
they have to justify him being the hero.
Yeah, so it was just annoying to see that.
You know the thing though, the comparison to Goku is good, but at the same time, at least Goku's justified in being as powerful as he is. Sora is not justified in any way, shape, or form as being as powerful as he is.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's one of the weakest Keyblade wielders there is. Like, Riku is definitely should definitely be more powerful than him. Mickey should definitely be more powerful than him. Aqua should most certainly be more powerful than him. Ventus, I can understand because he's been in a coma for 10 years and like he's kind of groggy, and he was never a strong Keyblade wielder to begin with.
Yeah.
But Kairi and Axel obviously are new, and they shouldn't be more powerful than him. But it's like those three though should absolutely be more powerful than he is, and they're not presented that way.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. It's very annoying, actually. It's extremely annoying.
In my opinion, like, he even robs Donald of his moment.
He does, yeah, because Donald had his badass Zeta Flare moment, and that's taken away from him, yeah.
It rewinds, and that never happens. You know what I'm saying? So
that never happens. That is true.
I mean,
let's keep going, because this theme continues. So after you beat the tornado thing, Yen Sid shows up and does magic, and you go into this labyrinth, and all the characters are basically a gauntlet of boss fights. From a gameplay standpoint, this was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
These fights were really fun. They really pushed you to your limit as a player. You really needed to use all the tools you had at your disposal.
Yep.
I really liked them.
I did too.
From a story standpoint, it's just
terrible.
It's more bullshit because you have all these characters fighting multiple Organization 13 members, and Sora has to come save the day at every single one of them. And he's robs all these characters of character moments. Like Riku's the only one that's actually passable because the two of them together are kind of a duo, and they're like partners. And it's cool and it makes sense. And I don't actually feel like Riku was struggling that much. Like, he probably could have beaten the people he was fighting against by himself. But whatever. It's like him and Sora, they're best friends.
Yeah, and and the other thing I just thought, like, they should have been consequences behind your choices. Like, what if I
agree. Yeah, you have to pick one over the other.
Yeah,
right?
Should have been consequences. Or another thing, like we talked about before, instead of having Sora, like, Sora can go to Riku and fight them. But then instead of him going to each and every other bosses, like, you fight as the main characters. You choose which one you want to fight as, and you fight as those characters.
See, this is the way they should have done it, is what you just said. You don't fight as Sora. You fight as the person fighting the other characters.
Yeah, because each of the Keyblade wielders fights the organizations. So you got Mickey fighting two of them. And then
so Riku's fighting Ansem, his younger self, and Zigbar.
Yep.
At the same time.
No, not Zigbar.
Yeah, it was Zigbar.
It was Zigbar?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Ansem runs away quickly in the fight, though. Like, he
okay, that's why I remember.
He ports out.
Yeah.
And then Mickey's fighting Marluxia, Larxene, and Luxord by himself.
Yep.
Aqua and Ventus are fighting Terranort. Just Terranort. That's it. And then Axel and Kairi are fighting Syx and Shion, who's...
No, they were fighting Vanitas as well. Because Vanitas...
You're correct. That's right. Vanitas was fighting Aqua and Ventus. That's true. You're right. Forgot about that. And then Kairi and Axel are fighting Syx and Shion, who's hooded and is obscured.
Let's just get that part out the way. Like,
okay, sure.
Because... That if I don't talk about it, I'm gonna fucking lose my mind. Kairi is the Sakura of this game.
Yes.
But Sakura did more in Naruto. Like,
she did. She actually fought somebody.
Somebody and beat them. Kairi does nothing. Why is she here?
Ever.
I hate the way that the females are written in this game.
Particularly her, though, dude. Ugh.
Like, she had this damsel in distress
in the first game.
And I want to say the second game, but not really.
Not really. She just shows up randomly at the end and somehow beating Heartless up. Yeah. Okay, sure.
And then in this game, it's like
she spends the whole game
training, and then nothing happens. Like, she gets taken.
And she's useless, though. She doesn't beat. She's not depicted in this entire game defeating a single Heartless. She's useless. She's terrible. And like Axel's the same.
Did you even see her Keyblade out?
You did, yeah,
okay.
You did, yeah.
Okay.
But Axel's the same way. Like, he's not depicted defeating a Heartless either. And like, as far as I know, maybe they did it briefly. I don't know, during one of their like little side segments. But yeah, like, dude, she gets captured, and then later something happens. We'll get to it in a second, I guess. I don't know. I'll just say it now. I don't fuck it. She gets killed later after getting captured, and it's just like the worst written character ever. Like, if she's as weak as she's shown to be here, why are they bringing her here?
Why is she there?
Yeah, why are they bringing her here? Why would Sora let them bring her here if he cares about her as much as she's portrayed to care about her? Like, what a terrible fucking boyfriend you are, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I understand that, like, she wants to be this, like, she doesn't even have a moment, though, where she pretends, where she's like, I want to be strong like you and fight with you. Like, that doesn't even really happen. And even if it did, it's unjustified, because she's not really strong enough to be there with them, you know?
And then Roxas comes out of nowhere.
He's fucking Thor. He just comes out of the sky like he's got a fucking Bifrost and just explodes onto the ground, and he's just there. Like, what the fuck? Because, okay, I understand that they had a replica they were building for him, but where does the heart come from? It's still inside Sora. What the fuck? How does the replica get there and the heart somehow gets into it at the same time? It makes no sense. No sense. And Shion's there on top of it. Where the fuck did they get her from? What the fuck? This shit... Dude, let's just say it now. This game, and this is further exacerbated by the very end of the game in the last scene, I felt like Nomura just literally, his whole thing in this game was like he wanted to get every character, every original Kingdom Hearts character that's ever been in the entire fucking series in this game. And even if it was unjustified, even if it made no sense, he just wanted everybody in here. And, like, this was his way of giving everybody a moment. But he doesn't give everybody a moment. They just show up and they're there, and then they're fucking...
The simple fact that everyone's justifying this game as the best Kingdom Hearts game lets me know that people do not understand writing. Because what the... I don't even care if it's anime. Like, even...
That's not a defense.
Yeah, like, even anime has...
They try to explain things.
Yes, Naruto...
This game doesn't try to explain anything.
Oh my god, it doesn't. It just happens.
And then when it does it wrong, like in the case of Aqua. Like...
So you beat... what's the guy's name? You beat that guy.
Sykes. Yeah.
So now we can go... I'm over that. Like...
Yeah, let's keep going. So you fight with Mickey, and you fight Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord. It's actually a cool fight. Yeah. However, Mickey has another moment where he's useless. He gets captured into a card, and you have to save him. And it's just like, come on, would you stop doing this to Mickey? Like, give him a moment where he's actually cool and powerful. Like,
and Mickey's smart in this game, so he's more competent. So how did he just get? It just the scene doesn't flow well because it's like, how do you get captured, dude, that easily?
Yeah, dude.
And we fought these people before. These are second.
You should already know how to fight them.
Exactly.
Like,
so
they don't do anything differently. Like,
another thing in between each fight. When you kill one of the or you defeat one of the organization, everything stops and like a cutscene happens.
Yeah, they just monologue at you for like 2 seconds. And it's like the other characters.
You help me out, Sora, or whatever. I'm gonna get you back, Sora, or something like that.
And the other two characters you're fighting against are just.
They just stop.
They're not even present. It's like they're not even there, but it's like, yeah, the fight just stops. It's like so awkward. Like, dude, this is what's so annoying. That's why this game started to feel rushed to me at this point, because it's like it's not even that hard to pivot the idea here. It's like, dude, okay, you beat one of them, they just get on their knee and they're not targetable for the rest of the fight, and then when you kill all 3 of them, they're all on their knee, and you walk up to them and you hit triangle, and that's what initiates the cutscene.
Yeah.
That's all you needed to do. Like, you didn't need to do anything fancy, and they did it. They still did that wrong. You can't even do that right where it feels natural. Like, it's like a simple thing, dude. Like, this game is like, it feels like everything's wrong. Everything's wrong at this point. And it's like, as much as the fights are fun,
the fights are really fun,
the story part of it, it just all falls apart. Yeah, it all falls apart.
This is the first time I felt challenged in the Kingdom Hearts 3 game.
In the game, yeah, I agree.
And then, like you said, you fight. Who else you fight?
Ansem. You fight Ansem, Zigbar, and young Riku with Riku.
Yeah. Nothing really happens.
Nothing really happens.
I mean, Zigbar, fucking the worst foreshadowing in the game, in my opinion. One of the worst foreshadowing. Zigbar doesn't disappear like everyone else. He falls off a fucking cliff. And you're like,
yeah, that's right.
I'm like, bro, he's gonna come back. Like, he's obviously not dead. I'm like, it's so obvious, man. Like,
I didn't even put that together. You are 100% right. Holy shit, dude! What a fucking my god!
Like, if you play the game, if you play that part, everyone has the same segment. They monologue, blackness comes around them, and they disappear.
They disappear. Yeah.
Zigbar, his weapons disappear.
He was the first one I killed in this entire section, so that's probably why I didn't notice
it.
Yeah, that's probably why I didn't notice it.
He was my first too, but I'm like, oh my god, no. And he's like, and he falls into
he's just,
and I'm like, no, please God, he's gonna come back.
Yep.
I'm like, he's gonna come back.
Yep.
So that happens, and then let's get to the second worst part of this gauntlet.
Okay, so you beat all them, and you go through the rest of the labyrinth, and then you fight Ansem.
No. Before that,
did I forget
Terranort.
something? Oh, you're right. I didn't. I skipped that. Oh no! I skipped that. Oh, that is the best part. Holy shit. Okay, so you fight. I beat Vanitas first, and whatever. He has a moment where he's like, Sora, I'm you.
And I thought that moment was really organic.
It actually felt cool. As I said, I like Vanitas.
Yeah, Vanitas is a cool person.
think he's a good villain. Yeah. I think he's, for the most part, pretty well written. He does just kind of make fun of Sora at the end, and he's like, Sora, I'm you, but I'm your shadow, or whatever.
It's like he has like a smirk going to it.
He's very sticky though. Yeah, he's got like a shtick.
Yeah, you beat me, but
I'm always with you. Yeah. Like he feels really ominous though.
Yeah.
Like he feels genuinely ominous as a villain, and this is true of both the Birth by Sleep villains, him and Xehanort. They always had a feeling of like shit got real when they showed up.
When they showed up,
the two of them I always felt like were real villains.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the characters can fuck off. Like none of them ever really felt like villains. They're just like kind of there to get in the way. But these two actually like really tried to kill people, and like they're fucked up, both of them. Unfortunately, Xehanort does not maintain that in this game, but anyways, you beat Vanitas, and then you fight Terranort, and talk about robbing characters of character moments.
Oh my god.
Aqua got done so dirty in this game, dude, because she never gets a moment to shine, ever. Because you beat him, and then the cutscene happens, and he puts everybody in chains or whatever. He summons these chains to put everybody in chains, and Aqua and Ventus get completely fucked up, and they go unconscious, and Sora's just sitting there like, no! And then
so then our favorite guy, Terra, shows up, but in a dark, heartless monster.
Well, no. So remember, you know how Ansem has that monster behind him, that Heartless or whatever that he fights with? Terranort had the same thing, right, in Birth by Sleep.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So that thing is his darkness embodied, I believe.
Gotcha.
But for some reason, apparently, what happens here is that Terra, the actual person Terra, had control of that body for some reason, somehow, and it turns on Terranort and frees Sora, and then Sora, I don't even remember what happens. He beats Terra up, and then Terra somehow turns back to normal.
Yeah, that's pretty much the
end of it. Yeah, and it's like, and then Aqua and Ventus like fall on the ground, and then they wake up, and they're like, "Oh my God, Terra, you're back! Oh, Sora, thank you. Oh, we're tired now. You can go fight with Riku and Mickey, because we're really tired."
So this part of the game,
and but dude, it's just like it's Sora again.
Yeah.
And then it's an ass pull. Like,
it's
not explained. Like,
it's not explained.
So whatever.
So
let's just get to the end, dude.
Hold on, before that. Hey, I know you guys wondering what happened to Armored Terror.
Oh,
we don't know either.
Yeah, no, he doesn't show up here. He's not fighting Terranort.
That's what I thought was going to show up.
Yeah, he's not fighting Terranort. Like, Terranort is just there. Like, nothing happened. Like, he never fought anybody. It's the weirdest thing. It's so fucking bad. Ugh.
So then we get to the final part.
So then you fight. This is the coolest fight in the game, in my opinion. You fight Ansem, Young Xehanort, and Xemnas together.
And your team is Riku and
Mickey, and Sora. And it's a badass fight. It's a really cool fight. I really like this fight. This is my favorite fight in the game. It's also, I believe, the hardest fight in the game.
Yes.
The three of them, you're fighting them in their final boss forms, basically, as humanoids. And dude, oh my god, like, I had to target Ansem first because he is so annoying. he has this move where he levitates in the air and he has this pillar of laser beams surrounding him, and he's in like a cylinder and he just moves towards you, and he's so fast. If you're in the middle of a combo, you cannot dodge it. And it like, I had to kill him first because he just,
honestly, I had no complaints besides the awkward monologue in between fights, but each monologue was done very well.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's the disappointing part about this is, like, these three characters, I really like their monologues.
Yeah.
Like, Young Xehanort was perfectly in character. He's an asshole. He hates Sora.
Put the middle finger up so bad, man. He's like, well, I'm just going to go back to my time anyway.
Yeah, he's like... Yeah, so he basically is like, Sora, you didn't do anything. There's consequences to your actions. Peace, bitch. He
Young Xehanort gets under his skin
so bad.
Much.
Yeah, Sora, dude, like, he does not know how to handle that dude, and it's hilarious. But then Ansem and Xemnas both had really heartfelt endings where they're both kind of like looking back on their actions, and they had a moment of like, man, I'm finally feeling something, and the first feeling I'm feeling, like Xemnas says, first feeling I'm feeling is loneliness.
And that shit hit me. I'm like, damn, man.
Yeah, and he has a moment too where he says, "Is like, I took all of my underlings for granted, and it sucks. This is a sucky feeling." Yeah. And he's like, "This is why the heart sucks." Is like, and Sora's like, "But this is why the heart's great," or whatever. Fucking Sora. But whatever. So yeah, Xemnas, like, it was really sad though. Like, you could tell, like, it just, I don't know, it kind of hit me. Yeah. So then Ansem has a similar thing where he looks at Riku's like, he's like,
him and Riku have a thing.
They have a moment, and Riku's like, "I'm actually gonna miss you," and like, "I actually think I'm gonna miss you." Yeah. And Ansem's like, he has a moment with Riku. He's like, "I knew that I was never gonna overcome you. Like, you're too strong for me," and that was cool. That was actually cool. It's like an acknowledgement of Riku's strength, right? Yeah. It's a good character moment for Riku, right? Like, how much he's grown, right?
And then that shit
thrown out the window, baby, because Xehanort's here. Fuck you. So that ends, and then Xehanort, he's just sitting there standing at the top of the fucking mountain, and he's just looking down, like, and then he speaks again. He starts talking, and it's like, the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, I wish this was Leonard Nimoy. It's like, I'm sorry, the voice actor they got for Xehanort to replace him was just so out of place. He did not do this character justice in any way. I don't want to bash the guy, but he just missed the mark. He really missed the mark.
I'm not going to speak too much on his voice acting. I know he had to fill in a role, and that's hard.
It's hard to do. Yeah, exactly. But it took me out of the experience, though. Yeah. It's something I noticed, and it really stuck with me the whole time. Yeah. I couldn't get it out of my head. So he shows up, and Riku and Mickey run at him and fucking fail, and then
he kills Kairi at this moment.
Well, no. Yeah, he kills. Does he kill Kairi first? I don't remember.
I don't know.
No.
He kills him.
So they run at him, and Mickey tries to cast Ultima, and then he casts Stopza at the same time, stops him and Riku, and then Sora runs at him, and then he throws Sora back, and then he kills Kairi. Yeah. And Riku and Sora's like, "Why her?" or whatever, and it's like. It just solidified Kairi being the shittiest character in this fucking series.
It literally set it up for another game.
That was the other thing about it. Yeah, it was like, clearly they were setting up another game, which we'll get into in a few, but it's just like, so yeah, then he's sitting there and he's like, man, I got my 13 keys, and I'm going to open Kingdom Hearts. He opens Kingdom Hearts. And then everybody shows up, and Sora's like, I'm going to fight Xehanort, and you guys close Kingdom Hearts. And it's like, of course, that's the way it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, how else was it going to happen? Of course, Sora's going to be the one who does the heroic thing, you know? So you go into the fucking portal, you get dragged into a portal with him or whatever, and then you're in... What the fuck was the place called? I don't remember.
I don't know, some city.
You're in
the city that was in Union Cross, where all the Keyblade rulers lived at.
Yes.
Before.
It's really cool looking.
Yeah.
Really looks cool. The design's really cool. It's a cool battlefield. You end up fighting 3 different battles. Subsequently, you fight all the organization members faceless.
Yeah.
All at once, and they share a health bar. It's an annoying fight.
Really annoying
it's
fight.
a stupid fight. I don't like it
at all.
But then you fight Xehanort in goat armor or whatever, and he's in this. He creates this box with the landscape around you that he's turning constantly.
That was pretty cool.
This was probably my second favorite fight because they don't give you the power of flight like they used to, they usually would back in the day. In these situations, you actually have to use your abilities of traversal to get to Xehanort, because he's like floating in the air in the middle. Yeah. And you have to like use your abilities to get to him to even hit him.
I wish they kept that same energy during the third act of the fight.
Yes, I agree.
I do not like because the second act, I mean, there's really not too much to talk about between the fights because nothing really happens. They just go through phases. Yeah. So the second phase, you fight underwater, which is kind of the easiest one to me.
Yes.
And then you go to the third act, which is you're
fighting back in the city again.
Fighting back in the city.
Yeah.
And you're floating, and I didn't like that part of the fight.
Either. I hated that part of the fight too. I like that first section the best. I wish that had been the whole fight, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you get to the second half of Xehanort where
you're fighting him, basically. But he has the Keyblade now.
He has the Keyblade.
The Crossblade, whatever it's called.
I really didn't have any complaints about this fight.
No, I liked it too. I thought it was straightforward. It was pretty easy. It was pretty much it felt like a normal Keyblade fight, like against another kind of Keyblade wielder.
It felt like a finale fight.
But it felt like a finale fight, and so it was fine. Yeah. But then you beat him, and then all the characters come through the portal somehow. Whatever. At this point,
and Ericus is locked inside.
Oh my God. So Terra's there, and then like Xehanort's fucking having his fucking little monologue where he's like, "Man, all these people with their darknesses." And this was annoying me because he reveals basically that he's actually trying to defend the world from darkness. Essentially, that is his whole plan. Is that he thinks the worlds are getting overtaken by darkness too much to a point where they cannot fight it back. So his plan was to open Kingdom Hearts and purge the worlds entirely and start over from scratch. Yeah, that was his plan. That was his master plan this whole time, and it just fell flat. It didn't feel good to me. But then, so Terra's there, and for some reason, Ericus is inside Terra, and he's just like, "Hey, Xehanort, we're buddies, bro. Let it go, man. Let's let it go, bro." And then they're
Xehanort
like,
lets it go.
Just float into the air with me into nothingness, and that's what happens. They just float into the air and they disappear, and it's like, oh okay.
Oh, and then, they're like,
then they close Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, they close Kingdom Hearts and like, oh, I gotta go find Kyrie, and then it's like set up the game for another Kingdom Hearts.
Here's
game.
Kingdom Hearts 4. So then that happens, and then there's a bunch of epilogue scenes. Two in particular, I want to point out is the one where Xigbar shows back up and reveals that he's actually Luke Shu, one of the foretellers, and the other 4 foretellers besides Ava, whatever her name is, they get revived. Apparently everybody in this fucking world can get revived. Fuck me. And they show up and they talk to him, and he says some cryptic shit and doesn't open the box, so you don't know what's in the box. Then Maleficent and Peter there, and they're just like, "Oh man, look, there's the box. Oh, okay." And that's the end of that. And then there's the secret movie, which basically sets up the next game, whatever the next game is.
Yeah, wherever the next game, wherever the DLC.
Everybody's freaking out, trying to figure it out. I couldn't give a fuck. I really couldn't give a fuck.
Honestly, I don't even think it's that much hype. So
me either.
Now on to the second part of this rant, which. We talked about the story. Let's talk about the gameplay.
The rest of the game, yeah.
So, how did you feel about the combat?
It's fucking terrible. This is the worst feeling game. The worst feeling Kingdom Hearts by far. Sora, Early in the game, my biggest complaint was always aerial combat. Yep. Anytime you had to go into the air as Sora, the game falls apart. Like, you lose complete control of him. His ability to dodge, block, and do anything in the air is just horrifying. Like, you get locked into combos because there's no canceling combos in this game. If you're in the middle of a combo, you cannot cancel out of it to dodge.
Yeah,
you have to finish the animation.
Parts, yeah.
You have to finish the animation, and it just sucks. You get committed to things, and it's like you're not. It doesn't feel like skill-based combat at a certain point. You're just sitting there and just mashing X.
Yeah, and like it's completely suffers from that floaty feeling that I used to get from other games.
Birth by Sleep, yeah.
Birth by Sleep. But with Birth by Sleep, I think the combo deck system did save it a lot.
Yeah, because you could be more strategic.
Yeah, you didn't have to fly.
You didn't have to get into combos.
Yeah, you didn't have to get in combos, or you have to jump in the air pretty much, unless you wanted to use some certain spells.
Yeah.
Another thing that I didn't like besides that was, you can't have any creative abilities or creative freedom with your combos in this game as you could in 2.
Yeah.
A lot of people were comparing the attractions to like reflecting too. So the attractions,
oh my god,
were completely overpowered. They're pretty much summons without using a mana bar. If you hit an enemy that has a ring over it, a green ring, you get this thing called attraction that's like an AoE. It clears the room.
It's a screen destroyer, basically.
And there's no repercussions behind using it at all.
Yep.
There are certain points in the game where, like I mentioned on Hercules stage, you get it all the time.
Oh my god, it's so annoying.
Constantly, you get it constantly on the Tangle. You get it constantly on Toy Story.
It seems like it gets less as the game goes on.
That's what I was going to say.
Fucking weird.
But it does get less. But when you get it on screen, I choose to skip it.
Me too. Yeah, I was actively avoiding them. However, the thing about them getting lessened later in the game is I think a lot of things in the early part of this game are designed in a way to cover up the combat. Like, I think the attractions are there to be obnoxious and they want you to press triangle to use them because the combat sucks.
Yeah.
And fighting with a regular keyblade sucks. So they want you to be able to kill things still, and actually have fun doing it.
Yeah.
So I think that's there, and then the mech thing in the Toy Story world, like, I think that's kind of there to cover up the combat in that world too. Because, dude, if you don't use the mechs, like, you're not going to be able to win a lot of the fights. Yeah. Like, you have to use them. Like,
yeah, because once you get Combo Master, then things start to open.
Yeah, and you get Combo Master probably around Frozen or Pirates of the Caribbean, so the 5th or 6th world, whatever you're doing, whatever order you end up doing. Yeah, once you get Combo Master, you're able to... So the problem is, the reason why aerial combat sucks so much is that if you miss the first hit of your combo, you just get stuck. Like, you can't keep attacking. You have to wait for the swing animation to finish. Yeah. Then you have to wait for Sora to fall a little bit before you get control of him again. And then he'll swing up again, and if you miss again, you'll just keep missing and going through that.
It takes forever to fall.
Oh my god, it's terrible. And landing on the ground, when he lands, it's like you have like a half second where you can't do anything with him. Mm-hmm. It's terrible. So when you finally get Combo Master, you don't have to deal with that anymore. Like, you keep swinging even if you miss the first hit. You'll keep going through your combo.
Yeah.
But the thing is he kind of magnetizes the things though, and it's like, I know he's always kind of done that, but it just I don't know. It's just
it's very apparent in this game.
It's so apparent. It's like super apparent. It's crazy, dude.
And and I know what you guys are thinking, like, well, things were overpowered in other games, but Justin pointed out to me, you had to work to get those overpowered things. Like, you didn't get Reflect at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
You had to work to get Reflect. And you had to figure out how it works. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to figure out ways to break the game. In this game, like,
you hit triangle, you win.
You win. Even with your Keyblades. Like, to me, the easiest Keyblade was used with the Mirage or the Ever After.
That and the twin arrow guns was pretty OP too.
Like, those are boss killers. Like,
100%, dude.
Like, you just press triangle and you win the game.
And you don't even need to be near the boss for both of those.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're ranged. Like, it's crazy. In terms of earning things, like, my perfect example of this is the way I played this game. I built Sora as a magic user in this game, and it took me a while before that started paying dividends, but once it did, I was fucking wrecking shit, dude. Yeah. Like, dude, I told you, I was fighting the final bosses, and I was casting, like, Faraga and Thundaga. Dude, I was taking off, like, a third of a health bar every cast. It was getting nuts. I was taking off, like, 2.5, 3 full health bars with my full MP bar. and just by casting magic. And it's like, I built Sora that way, though. So it actually felt fun because I did that. Like, the game didn't do that for me. And my grand magic was fucking annihilating things, dude. Like, dude, I was casting Thundaga, and I was getting Thundaza. You know the point where you're fighting the liches or whatever?
Yeah.
Because when you're in Olympus, the first one you do, like, Heartless just keep spawning forever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah. And I stayed there for about 10 minutes just grinding for a little bit just to see if I could. And, dude, it was like, I was casting Thundaga, I was killing things in one hit, and then when Thundaza came up, I was killing the entire screen. Like, I was getting about 5,000 experience per cast of Thundaza. Damn. It was insane. Like, it was cool, though, because I felt like I did that.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I felt like I earned that by the way I was playing the game.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fucking attractions that were given to me for free. Like, I worked to make Sora that powerful with magic.
And just to let you know, guys, we both played on Proud Mode, which is the highest difficulty.
Yes, 100%. And that's another complaint I have, is that Proud Mode in this game is the easiest version of Proud Mode that's ever existed in a Kingdom Hearts game. I did not feel the need to grind at all.
Yep.
I only grinded in that one section just to see how fast I could do it.
Yep.
It was just a curiosity thing. I didn't actually need to do it. I never needed to grind, and the leveling felt like leveling on normal does generally in some of the other games, where it's like as you level enough where you're not taking tons of damage and you don't have to kind of over level to keep up with the enemies. So yeah, that was a big issue I had as well. There's no critical mode, which I guess is normal because they usually put that in the final mix.
Yeah. So but who knows if we get a final mix though?
We will. We're definitely going to get a final mix.
I mean, if the reception doesn't come out in this game, people are still praising this game.
Yeah, they are. They're going to continue to praise it, too.
Like, that's another thing. Like, guys, be realistic. I mean, I understand you guys are fanboys. You've been waiting for this game for 13 years. But come on, man, be realistic. There's nothing wrong with liking it, having different opinions.
Recognize that it has flaws, though.
Yeah, like, don't bash people. Because I saw someone get bashed because, you know, they were making a joke, throwing the Kingdom Hearts thing in the trash. And people are like, oh, but you're making money off this by selling T-shirts and stuff. And it's like...
Well, they were like, you should throw yourself in the trash.
Yeah.
It's like, well, stop being so butthurt. Like, the game has flaws. All video games have flaws.
Yeah, and it's a good game. It's a bad Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah. You know what? And like, I understand that you can like it just as much as I can dislike it.
Exactly.
You know, it's like... So... I think that's the thing. We need to respect each other's kind of space a little bit more. I'm not sitting here saying that you need to like hate this game, but like it's what we were saying. Acknowledge that it has flaws. Be realistic. Like there's definitely parts of this game I know for a fact that you probably don't like. If you love this game, there's probably something about it you don't like though. You know, whether it's the gummy ship or the fucking attractions like we're talking about, or some of the other stuff, or the way the worlds are designed. Something about it. I'm sure there's something about it you don't like.
Yeah.
So just be honest about that. That's all it is. That's the whole point of this podcast, dude, is being honest. We're giving you our honest thoughts. Yes, our honest thoughts are negative, but in overall, we don't love the game. I'm not sitting here saying the game's a 1. It's not.
No, it's definitely like a 6
It's an
or
average.
7.
It's an average to slightly above average game, maybe. But you know, and it was fun enough. But that's not what I want out of Kingdom Hearts. So overall, I'm skewing negative in my opinions. But I think the game had a lot of issues. I think the story of the series was not done justice in this game.
It definitely wasn't.
And it
wrapped up a lot of stuff, but it wrapped it up,
dude. And this game kind of broke my fandom of Kingdom Hearts. Like I'm crestfallen. Like I
know I said I swore off Kingdom Hearts, but another Kingdom Hearts game come out, I will buy it, but it's definitely not going to be first day like I did this game.
I mean, I'll buy it too, but my expectations are going to be way lower.
Super low.
So low. And I'm really sad about that fact. And I'm like, going back to Square, I'm really concerned about Square, dude. This is like 2 games in a row now that are really not good. And their track record of releasing games is not good either. Like, they don't release shit anymore. They announce it like, dude, we're looking on Final Fantasy VII Remake now. Final Fantasy VII Remake. When the fuck is that coming?
We don't know.
We don't know. And we have no idea. We don't know what the progress level of that game is. And that was announced. That's going to be 4 years at E3. 4 years.
I mean, you might as well reset that because they actually remaking the game.
I understand that, but that was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, where is it? We've heard hide nor hair of this game in a while. So I think Square in general's got some shit they need to clean up.
I mean, I know a lot of people would disagree that Final Fantasy 15 is a good game, but here at the Player's Take do not agree with that game was good.
That game's trash.
Yeah,
there's no other way to say it. We will talk about. I put it as our, because we have a document where we have a list of topics of the show we want to have in case we don't have anything for a certain week. You know, that's one of the games that I have on the list because that game. There's a lot to say about that game.
Yeah, we definitely need to talk about that game.
But you know, overall, like, I mean, what do you feel about Square? Like, I mean, and in Kingdom Hearts in general going forward, man. Like,
I'll just be honest. I always thought Square was overrated, but they did produce quality.
Yes, I agree.
I always thought there were better JRPGs out there you can play.
I agree with that too.
But I never. I mean,
they still made good games.
They still made quality good games. Even some of their hit or miss games were still like good quality games.
Yeah.
You can tell they had like a heart in it.
Yeah.
But now I don't see it anymore.
It's all flash, no substance.
Yes.
Their last two games have been all style.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3 are gorgeous games. They're fucking beautiful. They're some of the most beautiful games in the industry.
Yeah.
They look amazing. No question there.
But they always used to have substance behind that flash.
Yes, and that's the problem. And they also sound amazing.
Yeah.
For the most part. Like, the quality of the music, for the most part, in these games is really good. I had some issues with some of the remix tracks. I didn't love them, but they still sound great, though.
Yeah.
And, like, and there were a lot of really good tracks in the game anyways. But in Final Fantasy 15 has a fantastic soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, it does.
And the design of things, like of enemies and stuff, has always been really good. It was really strong. Yeah. But, again, that's all style stuff. None of that is gameplay. And that's their problem, is I think they've lost their way with gameplay. They just don't seem to know how to make a good game anymore. Like, that's fun to play.
Just actually kind of leads right back into the beginning of the podcast, or the middle, where games, this may be one of those franchises that has to go in the vault for a couple years.
But it won't. People are too hyped, man. And with that secret movie and the end of the game with Kyrie being missing, like, they're planning on making another game.
I mean, I know that, but
I don't know if it's next. It may not be next, which means it could be a while, but
I mean, people just. And the thing is, people don't want more. They don't want anything different because they like those games.
I know, but, dude, like, the Disney thing I was talking about, like, the way the worlds are structured, like, we need to change something here. Like, this can't be the way this goes going forward because it's just boring now.
And not to mention, we didn't say that throughout the whole podcast, there are no Final Fantasy characters in this game.
Yes, there's, also, so that's another part of this I want to cover, too, is, like, Disney's influence on this franchise. I thought it was obvious in this game.
Yeah, it was totally obvious.
It seems like, I mean, they dictated what worlds they could use. They probably dictated what characters they could use. And they probably dictated how those characters could be used. Because, like, it just feels like a lot of the characters were not in a lot of scenes. Like, Elsa's one in particular. Like, it's weird that she was not more involved in the world's plot than she was. And the fact that she didn't.
And I think it's mighty funny that the worlds, except for like Monsters Inc. or something like that, and Toy Story. Well, Toy Story has a new movie coming out, but we knew about that before the game came out. But like Frozen 2,
Frozen 2 just got announced.
2,
Big Hero 7 is a thing that's supposed to be coming. Toy Story 4 is already confirmed. It has a trailer.
Confirmed. And then they just, I think, canceled Pirates of the Caribbean.
But that was planned.
That was planned. Yeah. So I feel like now Kingdom Hearts is nothing but a big product push. Like, even with the secret movie, they're in the world that ends with you.
Yep.
That I feel like that was a product push because what happens? The world ends with you is on Nintendo Switch market now.
Yep.
Remade. So I feel like the franchise, it's like a shell of itself. It's more so like, hey, you just use this franchise as a product push. Like, they don't put effort into it anymore. And maybe Nomura seen that and was hoping people would see how bad the story is. Because I just can't see someone writing the game the way they wrote this game. I agree.
It feels really weird.
Yeah,
because
and I think maybe he did it on purpose, but the fandom doesn't see it.
Some of the games have, like Kingdom Hearts 1 has a really good story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it integrates the Disney characters into the game's main plot.
Yeah,
really well.
And that's what I'm saying. I think he wrote this. Like, I'm trying to give him some leeway because there is no way someone can write a convoluted story like this, connect plot points, and then just be like, on a final game, like, whatever. Like, I just can't see it.
I mean, maybe he is stretched too thin and he didn't get to put as much attention into this as he wanted to.
Yeah, maybe so.
I mean, with Tabata gone now, like, he's like the guy.
Yeah.
At Square, right? So he could have his hand in all these projects. You know? And who knows? So maybe he delegated some of the writing to other people and they just didn't do a good job. You know? I just don't understand how you play this game and you play through the story and you don't see the flaws in the plot that we're talking about here. You know, it's like I don't know how you like. Maybe you don't care. That's fine, but they're there. You know, the flaws are there. They're obvious too. It's impossible to deny them, in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't really want to talk about this game anymore. We've been talking about it for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm done with it now.
I just want to put it behind me. This is one of the most disappointing games I think I've played in a long time. I'm sad. I don't know if I want more Kingdom Hearts. I really was hoping this would be the last game Sora would be in because he sucks. Controlling him sucks. I want to control like Aqua or Riku or Mickey or somebody else, but I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're going to get more Sora and Riku probably going forward. Who knows? So that's going to be it for this episode. If you want to talk to us on Twitter, tell us how wrong we are about Kingdom Hearts 3 or just yell at us in general. Montrell is at iTrap for the Hokage. That is the number 4, not the word. I am at Thundernut01. The podcast is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us some feedback via email or ask any questions, we are you can do that at theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And next week, I have no idea what we're going to talk about. We will see what happens during the week. If not, we will pick one of our topics of the show.
Yep.
But we hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you stuck with us for this long, you are a champ. But we'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.